Hello, hello, hello. Do you want to say hello, Lily?
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Did you hear about Slav?
What?
Huh?
What?
Who? Who what?
What did you say?
Slav.
Who's Slav?
What?
What?
Slav. Did you hear about it?
I didn't hear about it.
Say what instead of who.
Didn't I say what?
Yeah, but you said who is Slav. You didn't say...
What is Slav?
Baby, don't hurt me.
You did all that just for that. Hey guys, how's everybody?
Okay. How is the music level right now? Is it too loud, too quiet? Let me know. Little bit loud, says a few people. Okay, I can turn it down a little bit. Better? Hi from Nova Scotia, Joe. How's it going in Nova Scotia? Is Nova Scotia getting that storm, or is it just Newfoundland?
I was just gonna say that. Are you getting anything from what Newfoundland's getting over there? Because that's pretty bad. It is fucking cold. I'll agree with that.
Yeah,
it is cold, eh?
Hey, tell me something, sir. I wouldn't know. Thank you, sir.
Indeed, lad.
Let's just have a listen.
I haven't watched the live Q&A since you played Hat in Time a while back. Excited to be able to finally catch one again.
Well, this might be the last one in a while, actually. So we're starting over an hour late. I assume that most of you don't know about babies. Babies at around between 6 and 9 months, they start having to be sleep trained, which is when they have to go down and learn to go to sleep. And there's different forms of parenting and sleep training a baby, but the one that we subscribe to is that around this age, you have to let the baby learn how to sleep by themselves. And Leo was very successful doing that. Finn was not, but Finn has the same sleep disorder that I have and has sleeping problems even now. Finn is still awake. Leo's not, and Kate seems to be somewhere in between, so we'll see. So this might be the last one that we can do in a while. I don't know what we're going to do if that's the case. I might have to do them in the day solo, or I don't know. But yeah. How does sleeping get taught? So at this age, babies experience separation anxiety. They want to be with their parents. They want to be in familiar surroundings. They don't really understand object permanence yet. So when you go away from a baby and you come back, they thought that you didn't exist anymore, and they're very happy to see you because like, oh, you do exist still. So they haven't learned any of that yet. So they get very anxious whenever there's separation. But so it might sound cruel that you're supposed to just leave the baby alone and let them learn how to sleep by themselves. But studies have suggested overwhelmingly that if a baby is taught to soothe themselves to sleep around this age, that it's a lot easier for them growing up, and it's better for everyone involved. It's not just the parents; it's mostly for the child. So that's what we're trying to do, and it's going better than it was with Finn, but she's not happy, right?
She's crying a lot.
What's this stuff?
And there's nothing you can do for her other than coddle her, basically, because you feed her, you change her, you know. You get her ready for bed, you put her down, and then she doesn't want to go down. She wants to be held. But she won't sleep if you hold her, so...
Seems like a good deal.
Eventually she'll cry because she's tired, and then she's crying anyway, so it's just kind of a big circle right now.
So this game is Hades. We've played it a bunch on stream before. I have beaten it. So if you do not want to see Hades spoilers, this is not the stream for you. I'm going to be skipping through most of the dialogue because that's not what the stream is about. If it's too distracting, we'll play something else. We'll go on the Minecraft server or something.
I like the sound of this one here, contractor, sir.
This game is in early access, and it's quite good. I really like it.
I'd say our court musicians suffered quite enough. Besides, I miss his cheerful disposition.
Oh, hello.
How does it work? Just leave them and hope they're sleeping and only go in if they get really upset? Yep, that's the idea. The idea is they're well, it doesn't have to be that hardcore. Like, we still go in and check on them sometimes, especially at this age when the baby can get onto her stomach and not get off of her stomach, and you're not supposed to leave a baby sleeping on their stomach because of SIDS, which is sudden infant death syndrome. Because being a parent is just so wonderful that SIDS is exactly what it sounds like. There's a chance every single time a baby goes to sleep that the baby will just die, and there's no reason for it. The baby will just die. That's something that can happen. They don't know exactly what causes SIDS, but they say that one of the ways to lower the chances of SIDS are to not let the baby sleep on their stomach.
Not give them anything that could suffocate.
Yeah, and also
because they're not great about moving their neck.
No toys, no blankets, nothing. So the hardcore approach is that you put the baby down in their crib, and then you say goodnight and you close the door, and that's it, and you don't come back until the morning, no matter how hard they cry, no matter what they do. You just don't come back. There's a middle ground, which is that you go back in every so often and you try to soothe them, but apparently some people say that that's worse. And the complete opposite is that you hold the baby and you soothe them until they go to sleep, and some parents like to do it that way too. But what we found is that, from our research, is that you're supposed to sleep train closer to the sounds like the hardcore kind of heartless way. It didn't work with Finn. It worked with Leo beautifully. Leo, after a couple of nights even, Leo was just sleeping like a champ. All by himself, could put himself to sleep easy. Finn did not. Finn, even as recent as a year ago, Finn would just not sleep. He would just scream and cry for hours, like unless you went in with him and soothed him and was stayed with him until he fell asleep. He just wouldn't do it. One time he cried so hard and so long that he made himself throw up. He just has a horrible time sleeping. But Kate seems closer to Leo, but not as good as Leo. But we'll see.
You called upon your humble court musician, as I understand, Lord Hades, sir.
Well, is that?
He's in trouble.
But let's not talk about the babies and everything. I just want to make it clear that this might be the last time that we can do this for a while. I don't know what we're going to do if we can't, because the Q&A should continue. But like, we couldn't do it last week, and this week it almost didn't happen either. So we'll see. But we'll continue to do it as long as we can in the same format.
I think I turned out okay. How am I looking?
Alright, so we need keys to unlock these things. We have 3 keys. Isn't there a new weapon we're going to unlock soon? I'm not sure. Boiling Blood. Death Defiance. Oh, we're almost there. Let's get another rank of Death Defiance. Alright, let's keep going.
A prophecy's been added to the list. It was inevitable. Thanks.
Alright, never mind. We got it. Okay, and now we can level up this. Each rank is... Oh, okay, so we're done. Each rank is plus 1. Let's get it.
Click. Power.
Do we sound okay? I'm a bit I'm a bit out of it. I don't know about Lily. Well, I do, but I'm lying, so she can say herself. I'm a bit out of it. Let's get the questions up. And let me refresh something here. If I'm in audio only mode, will I hear something that might ruin the game for me? Potentially, maybe. Like, I mean, I don't really consider this a story game. Maybe I haven't seen it yet. Like, I've completed it according to the game, and it's in early access, so everything could change. But yeah, I don't know. Thoughts on the Batman Arkham series? I only recently played Batman Arkham series for the first time for the Witcher video. I played some of the games briefly to see if Witcher 3 combat was Batman Arkham combat, because I had never played it before. And I thought it was okay what little I played.
Okay. What's up, boyo?
When confronting underworld bosses, take no damage the first 3 times they hit you. Oh man, what do we have right now? We have extra health. Take less damage from the front, but more from the back. Deal 22 damage when they're above. Enter chaos gates. Cool. Let's take that one, and we'll see how it goes. All right.
So calm down. That's just it.
What does this button do? Darn, I wasted it. Okay, so it's been a while since I played this game. It was sometime last month. How do I...
Stygius.
What?
Revealing your past.
Former blade in the world first revealed itself bonus movement speed.
My aspect grows stronger. Grant me the aspect of Nemesis.
Ever considered reading the Metro series of books and games?
I should take my spear.
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing what those are like. I played it a little bit, and I thought that it was a good time, but I can't remember why I stopped. I can't really remember. But it seemed interesting to me.
Bet you couldn't hit me with that, pal.
The books probably might be too much for me, but yeah.
You are as multifaceted as anyone I know.
Okay, let's stick with the sword.
Looks like Father's changed the terms of our relationship.
Okay, I don't know what any of this is, so you try to still understand what the... Oh no. Maybe this is not a good game. Let's just do a normal one. It wasn't a good game for the Q&A. Read the books and play the games that make a multi-hour review about it. Yeah. Do I have to?
Yeah, Joe, thanks for the good times. I recently watched Internet Historian's video on No Man's Sky, and he used a few of the clips from your review. That was a very pleasant surprise.
Yep, I talk to Internet Historian every so often. Not all that often, but yeah, now and then. Yeah, he let me know that he was going to do that beforehand. It was really cool. I like his videos. They're very interesting.
I was curious if you were still looking for admins or ops. Okay, I don't know what that means. For the Minecraft server, I'd be willing to help out and moderate.
Yeah, on the Minecraft server, probably not. I haven't gone into the Minecraft server for a while, so I don't know. It's probably gonna get more populated soon when, like the Discord's back now. So once more people realize that, there might be more people that go on it. I was gonna play on the Minecraft server for tonight, but I figured let's wait another week and then we'll do a bigger announcement. When the Witcher video comes out, I'm sure there'll be a lot more people on the Discord and they might find about the Minecraft server. So we'll see. But if it doesn't, then the Minecraft server might close soon if people aren't really all that interested in it. But I doubt that's gonna happen, and we'll see.
Talents.
Your thrust deals 200% damage.
A blade fit for a god.
But we'll see. If you want to message me on Discord, and I will keep your name there. And if we do need someone else, then I will let you know. But so far, I haven't heard much and any problems about the Minecraft server that require any more mods. We might need more mods on Discord. So far, it's been quite quiet, and the relaunch of the Discord has gone smoothly, about as smoothly as I expected, actually. But most people don't know it's back yet, so we'll see what happens after that.
Sure.
When most people know, we might need some more. What if I made a Google form with video length, frequency questions on it? How, along with patron substats? What? I don't know what you mean, Firebug. If you want to message me more about it on Discord, I'll read afterwards. I don't know what you mean. Sorry.
I'll never get out of here.
Hi Joe, thanks for making such good content. I've been wondering if you've ever played or heard of the Toe to the Moon games by Can Gao. I can't speak English today.
I've heard of them, but I haven't played them.
We're off to a great start.
They're story games, right? I would like to get into them at some point and see what they're like. I've heard that To the Moon especially is really, really good. Sorry, 1 second. Mentioned in a part Q&A that he asked you about a collaboration you forgot to get back to him. Did you get a chance to talk to that, or is it not something you're super interested in doing? He being internet historian. Yeah, I didn't get back to him about that yet because of the Witcher video. No, I did talk to him again since then though. Yeah, we talked about the Witcher video a little bit. I'm really bad about talking to other YouTubers. I feel like I'm bothering them. It's really bad. It's really stupid. Whenever another YouTuber speaks to me, I never feel like they're bothering me. But when I speak to another YouTuber, I feel like, oh no, I'm bothering you. I should just go away, which is really stupid. But again, Internet Historian has like 2 million subs, man. Like, he's a big boy compared to me. So that certainly doesn't help. It's a very story-based game, almost no mechanics. To the Moon. Okay.
I have Q&A streams because I no longer have to be a dirty VOD only watcher.
Ooh. I mean, there's only a little bit of shame in being a VOD watcher, right, Lily? As long as you know about it, it's fine.
As long as you're aware of it. I think if you're not aware, that's worse, right?
As long as you're aware of it, exactly.
She's offering an exchange.
We'll replace Tempest Strike. What? You attack still 1 damage on effects weak. Attack damage. Sure, why not?
I'm sure Uncle Poseidon won't mind.
I'm newer to the channel and community. I was wondering if after the Witcher video, you already have an outline of what you will be doing afterwards.
Sekiro video and a Babazu video, and after that, there's nothing I have planned. That's it. Those are only 2 that I'm promising, and we're probably gonna speak about this a little bit in one of the first questions tonight. I'm not going to be announcing for future projects anymore after that. I'm done announcing projects. It's too much pressure.
My Chaos Boon evolved a new effect.
What is your opinion on console exclusive games? Do you think they are needed to keep a console alive?
Okay, so that's a fairly complex question. I can give you a brief answer. I think that overall, in the current gaming climate that we're in, I think they're a good thing. I think that console exclusives give game studios a chance to make something special that they wouldn't otherwise be able to make, and I think that overall they are positive. Now, the only way to know that for sure would be if we could go through a time machine somehow and go and find out if there's like an alternate reality that we could go back and see, like if like a game like Bloodborne would still be made without console exclusivity, like funding it, you know, like who knows. But right now I think that overall they're probably a positive. Yeah.
Some of Charon's wares.
How to stay in a creative mindset.
Oh man. Oh god, how do I even answer that?
I think being exposed to other creative mediums helps. If I am reading a lot, then I feel like writing. If I'm not reading, I'm less inspired to write. And if I'm not writing regularly, I am less inspired to write regularly. So, consistency with whatever you're working on and exposing yourself to other things that are done well or not done well, for me, is what I would recommend. Doesn't have to be exactly what you're working on. For me, it's writing. It could be I'm listening to new music that I found, or watching a new movie that I found, or whatever. It doesn't have to be reading, but being exposed to other creativity helps.
Excuse me. I feel like I shouldn't answer this question because I have an unhealthy relationship with work. So, yeah, I don't know.
Love and loss.
Recommend an album.
Like if you have a healthy, you know, more healthy outlook on work, then I'm guessing it's all about more about balance and spending time feeding things that make you creative. Mm-hmm. But if you get like me, where it's like, you know, you have to just be balls to the wall on a project in order to finish it, then you just kind of suffer. You just have to get used to just the mental overclocking that comes with it.
Yeah, but if you didn't have the deadlines that you have, self-imposed or otherwise, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking of
that
like
might be different. Right?
If you were an author or an artist that was like most authors only release a book every couple of years, every 5 years. Some even like only once a decade they release a book, and you can take your time and work on it as much as you want, and you can just wait for the creativity to strike, or, you know, I don't know. I really disagree with this idea that or I don't believe it, rather. I don't believe that a lot of authors are constantly writing. I don't believe it. There are some like my favorite author is John Irving. John Irving, I believe it. He releases very, very long, very, very dense books somewhat regularly, especially considering how long they are, and he talks about how he has a schedule and he writes every single day, but he admits that it's not something that, it's not always like when he's working, it's not 100% focus work. Like, he will do other things too, you know, like but he does try to put in a couple hours of writing every single day, or planning every single day, and that's one of the most like he writes some of the most complicated books that there are of the contemporary fiction, and there's a lot of other writers that don't write nearly as much as him, is not nearly as complex, not nearly as good either, in my opinion, but that's of course very, very subjective, and they claim, you know, like, oh yeah, I wrote every single day, and this book went through 57 drafts, non-exaggeration. Some authors say that. I don't believe it. I think it's bullshit. So like it's different compared to the kind of work that I do compared to what that kind of writer would do.
Let's liven things up.
On topic of books, is there any books you've either read recently, say in the past 12 to 18 months, that you'd recommend, or books that you really like to read? Oh, there's plenty of books I really like to read. I really want to read, is it Sharp Objects or Dark Places? Which is the one that you really like?
I really like Dark... Well, I like them both, but Dark Places I think is okay. Better than Sharp Objects.
By Gillian Flynn or Gillian?
I think it's Gillian.
Gillian?
I thought it was Gillian, but I thought I heard Gillian. I think it's Gillian Flynn.
I would really like to read that, because I really like Gone Girl, and Lily recommends this book, and it's by the same writer. But the only books I've really read in the past 12 to 18 months have been the Witcher books. I think I read Sapiens in that time, right? And I read the sequel to Sapiens. I think I read those in the past 12 to 18 months. I'm not sure, but I haven't been doing much reading at all lately.
Hell House was good, but I don't remember who wrote it now. Hell, not Hill. Hell. Hell House, if you like horror type books.
Yeah, you said the ending was really good, right?
Yeah, I was really impressed with that one.
The walls.
It kind of was good, and then it kind of like plateaued a little bit for me, and I was like, is this gonna lose it? And then it got really good, and I was like, whoa, that came out of nowhere. It's pretty fucked up though, so you have to like a fucked up kind of horror book if you're gonna like it. If not, then you might be less impressed.
You heard of a game called Elix? I have, yeah. It's an open world kind of shooter sci-fi thing, right? Isn't it? I think I've heard of that. It looks somewhat interesting.
For the person who kept asking about albums, I'm still listening to Banks all the time. So she just put out 3 last summer, I think. And before that, she had Goddess and The Altar, and I really like Of Monsters and Men. Is that what they're called? I always get their name wrong.
Going up.
Yeah, Monsters and Men, yeah.
Fever Dream is their new one, and I really like that one.
Goddess is such a good song for Banks. Piggy-san knows about Banks.
I really like Banks. I thought I would have fallen off by now, but since before Kate was born, I'm so onto Banks.
I like her too. She's pretty good. She's like the new Florence for me and you both liking the same singer.
Mm-hmm.
Usually we don't.
She's right up there for me.
We don't really disagree all that strongly, but usually if I love a singer, you think they're okay, and vice versa.
Yeah, she's right up there in like my top 3 right now. I really like her. Her songs have a really cool energy. They're either very moody or they're very edgy. I don't know. They're not as epic as Florence, where they get so big at the end. She's not like that. She's more electronic, but like I like the energy she has.
Thank you, gods.
I never really listened to her much, but I like Goddess a lot. Goddess is good.
Let's get out of here.
That was off her first album, I think, so maybe try some of her more recent stuff. Joe really likes Till Now, and I really like Trainwreck. Hey Joe and Lily, can't tune in now, have to write a script, but I'll leave the stream on the background and throw you a host. I can farm monocoins and help you with the algorithm that way.
Uh-oh. Farming monocoins. For a yaya or for not a yaya? It's important to know.
As someone who listens to Shakespeare music, I've never heard of Banks. This is new to me.
She's relatively unknown. I mean, like, I wouldn't say she's like
No, she's not huge.
a complete nobody, but she's relatively unknown, yeah. There's a comic book writer that I follow on Twitter. Brian Edward Hill, I think his name is. I might have got his middle name wrong. Hold on, let me see if I can scroll down and find him. He tweets fairly often. Yep, Brian Edward Hill. And he tweeted out one of her songs one night, and I listened to it, and I was like, oh man. And so I sent it to Lily, and Lily really liked it. And we've been listening to her ever since. You probably already answered, but have you seen the Witcher TV show yet? I haven't been able to catch the streams. What's your opinion? Thanks. Yeah, I watched it. I thought the first 2 episodes were like there were really good parts of the first 2 episodes. You know, it wasn't all completely but they were quite strangely inconsistent. But after the first 2 episodes, I thought it got much better. So yeah, I enjoyed it. It does have some problems. It's got weirdly, like, again, I hate saying it because I say the word so often. It has weirdly inconsistent production values, and parts of it really feel off. But I enjoyed it for what it was, and it was cool seeing some of those book stories brought to life. I enjoyed it. I hope that the show's success means that it gets more resources and it comes back even stronger in season 2.
What is your profile picture of? And someone says it's a self-portrait.
Are you ready for this book?
That's from one of his books about a dragon.
Felt that.
Yeah, it's just a royalty-free image that we use for a cover on a book. So it's the dragon from that. Can you see over here, Lily?
I'm gonna try.
Okay, so let's say thank you to some people before we get behind on it, and then we will. Why can't I pause it? There we go. And then we will we'll move over to some questions. Thank you to Super Mega CO, Total Crovax, Dursasheed, Mixwellian, Edicus, and Philipsina for subbing or resubbing while the stream was down. And since we started, if Lily would like to read it out, and let me know when you want me to scroll up.
Thank you to Bumblebee851, who resubscribed for 12 months. And says, thanks, Joe, for the great year. I hope you'll read my question from Patreon tonight. Can't wait to watch the Witcher vid with my grandkids in 30 years when it's done. Nice one. Thank you to Dashaway22, who resubscribed for 9 months and says, haven't been around because I'm avoid DE spoilers. Glad to be back, though.
DE being Disability, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, probably. Thank you to BingyBot, who resubscribed for 2 months and says, delete Ayaya, Joe. Keep up the good work. Controversial.
Enemy of the Weebs.
Thank you to TJustTT, who resubscribed for 28 months and says, pan pizza or hand tossed?
Ooh, it's a tough one. It depends, but in general, hand tossed. Pan pizza can be too heavy sometimes. Do you agree with that?
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Thank you to Eddie B.R. Eddie B_R, who subscribed just now.
For the first time?
First time.
Welcome to the Dragon's Den.
Clawfist. Thank you to Paul Blanster, who resubscribed for 2 months and says, as someone also transitioning from game consumer to game creator, I wish you all the luck when you start the journey.
Oh, I misunderstood when I heard it. I read it again. Okay. How's that going? Paul Blanster, are you in chat? How's that going? I imagine it's very tough.
I don't know how to say this one. Thank you to Tossexjor. Tossexjor.
Eker, maybe?
I have no idea. I'm sorry. I want to spell it. I don't ever know how to say it. TOSXYCHOR. Who subscribed for 2 months in a row.
Thank you very much.
9 total. I don't know why I said that. Thank you to Virus Named Toast, who resubscribed for 2 months and says, what does this button do? That's the one I think that found out a minute after.
And then they weren't able to type their messages.
Thank you to Nor Should I think, who resubscribed for 11 months.
Thank you, Nor Should I. Also, welcome to the 1 year club to Bumblebee851. Forgot to say that after Lily read it out. And
Thank
1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's the top of the list right now.
Thank you to C. Davis Games, who resubscribed for 19 months.
You still here, Chris? How's it going?
Thank you to the one in between, who subscribed with Prime just now. First time. Clawfist to you.
Thank you very much. Welcome to the Robodub Sub Club.
How many now?
Thank you to
Totally ironic, by the way.
Rothlife, maybe,
I would say Roth Life, yeah.
who resubscribed with Prime for 4 months. Thank you very much. Thank you to Wazubi, who subscribed with Prime just now.
Delicious.
Thank
Thank you very
you.
much, Wazubi.
And Clawfist to you.
Cloth.
To all the newbies, get a Clawfist.
Oh my god.
And thank you to Incoettes, right? I always say it wrong.
Incoettes.
Incoettes.
That's gotta be it.
It's kind of like In Cahoots, right?
Yeah, it's gotta be Incoettes. Gotta be.
Gotta be.
Place of power, gotta be. Yeah.
Who resubscribed for 6 months and says, hello everyone, I took a look at the Twitter thread about the never-ending W.
Mm-hmm. Never ending Witcher. Yep.
Thank you to Isolated Spaceman, who used 100 bits and says, Lily, can I get a Clawfist since Joe didn't let you give me one the other day when I sent him a message from his waifu Himiko?
I don't remember seeing that message. Sorry if I've forgotten it.
Well, anyway. A very big, very special Clawfist.
Oh, I think I do remember. Okay.
Clawfist to you.
Just trying to block it out.
Gotta get my Clawfists in now. If I say enough now, we're good for the week, right? That's how it works, right?
Have there been any questions in chat that have been asked repeatedly since we started that people would like us to answer real quick right now before we get into the Patreon questions? Last time we answered questions just from people from Twitch subs. In case you are unfamiliar with how this format works, every month and 2 months, I'm gonna guess. It used to be like every month and a half. Actually, maybe I'm just completely misremembering now. Anyway, every month-ish, we harvest questions from subs and patrons, and we answer them over as many Saturday night streams as it takes. So this is I think the third night of this current group. And the second night, which was 2 weeks ago, we only answer questions from Twitch subs because that's just how it happened. Usually these go on for about 3 hours, although it might go on a little longer than that. And yeah, so today we're trying to focus on Patreon questions. So we'll update the current person who's asking the question in the top of the screen when it happens. But was there any question that was asked repeatedly in chat that we would like a quick answer before we get to it? I'm gonna sneeze. Oh my god.
As a member of your fan artist community, what would you consider going too far when you wouldn't feature it? For example, Merrick walks a fine line on Lucas.
Yeah, so I would pretty much put anything on the screen as long as I can also censor it if they don't mind. Like if Merrick ever drew like straight up nudity, spoilers he has, then I would want to like just censor it when it goes up on the screen, and then I'll show it. That's fine. Merrick censored it himself when he did it. Like Merrick is very aware of where the line is, and I think most artists are going to know where that is too. But yeah, I'm pretty lax on what we put up on the screen. But obviously, if it's going to break Twitch TOS, then I'm not going to put it up there. So that's how it works. So it's not really a me kind of a decision. It's what would break in terms of service.
Sorry to spam, and you're not. I did see it before, but not recently. So here it is. This one has been asked repeatedly. Have you played Payday 3 or Payday 2? Wow, Payday 3. Is there a Payday 3? Payday 3?
There's no Payday 3. No.
Yes. If you have, what do you think of it? And if you don't, what do you know about it?
I have actually played Payday 2. Yeah, I played Payday 2 quite extensively. Weeaboo Bill and I got into Payday 2 a little bit as a game to play off hours when we were raiding in World of the Warcraft, and as an epic prank, we bought the game he bought the game for one of the people in our guild at the time that was a little socially awkward, but we were like really good friends with him, and this was used as bribery by getting it for him, bribery that he had to play it with us. So the three of us played that quite extensively for I don't know, like a couple weeks. Yeah, and it was all right. It wasn't my favorite game. It was like a fun time, but it was mostly a fun time because of the people I was playing it with, not the game itself. I found it was quite spammy. We never really were all that successful in getting a mission done without it turning into just like the epic bloodbath, where I would just end up like racking up like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of kills. It felt like maybe it wasn't ever hundreds, maybe it was though. Sometimes I can't remember. Yeah, but yeah, I have played it. I haven't played it since like that launch though, so I don't know what it's like right now. That's oh, is that how you meant to play the game? Oh, okay. I thought you were into like, I thought we just sucked at it and you were supposed to be sneaky. On topic, what's your favorite co-op game? I don't really think I have a favorite co-op game. I haven't played a lot of co-op games. My favorite co-op experience has been probably Resident Evil 5 and Portal 2 co-op. I think that's probably my two favorite co-op experiences that are pure co-op.
Flexen's here.
Oh, Flexen, you're not dead. We were worried about you.
We were wondering about you.
We were worried about you. Yeah, I noticed you hadn't posted since the Discord came back, and I did like a post. When was Flexen's last post? And it was like in the middle of December, and I was like, holy shit, Flexen died. But no, he didn't.
I will be back once I replace my computer.
Okay. Well, I hope you're well, Flexen. Flexen lives. Have you played Dead Cells? I have played Dead Cells. I don't really like it. I'm sorry. Like, I don't hate it. I don't think it's a bad game. I just don't really like it. It's not for me. Sorry. Going to go back to watch the Disco VODs, but how are you feeling the game so far? I really like it. Disco is probably going to end up one of my favorite games of last year. I'm really enjoying it. I'm very impressed by it. Wow. I'm pretty sure that Disco Elysium is going to end up being one of the greatest games of all time for a lot of people that play it, that like those kinds of games. It's not going to be up there for me because I prefer games that have more mechanical depth. It still is a game for sure, but it's barely a game. In terms of an exploration of untangling narratives and stories and everything, like in terms of writing, you know, it's definitely one of the greatest games of all time, I think. I think I can say that even this early, but that's not the main reason why I play games. So it's not going to be a GOAT for me overall, but it'll be a GOAT for me in a certain category, for sure. Do you like the term GOAT, Lily?
Very much. This was before too. Do you have to put any effort into not getting burnt out on games in general? I've lately found myself not enjoying any games and I think I'm just burnt out, but I don't do it for a living, so I don't play nearly as much as you do.
I guess so, maybe, but like for me, there's a lot, like the vast majority of the time that I spend working on video game stuff is not spent playing video games. So I twice this small area no longer frozen attack eyes away projectile 20 damage. 20 damage is not that much. Your dash attack is twice and deals 3%. Sure, let's get that one.
There, that's it.
Yeah, so like it's hard to get burnt out on that kind of thing when so much of my time is spent not playing the games for work. Actually, right now I really want to play games. Like I'm really hungry to get into like playing. I want to play through Dark Souls again. I want to play Bloodborne again. You know, like I want to play Sekiro again right now. There's tons and tons of games that I want to go back and replay. It's not just about new games that I want to get into. I'm really missing just being able to have a lot of video game time that's just for fun. You know, like this is enjoyable right now, and I enjoy streaming and like very much. But it's very different than playing a game like privately on your own for fun. The only time that I get on that lately is whenever I just cannot look at the video editor anymore, and I need to have like a 45-minute break from that before I go back to it. You know, like I'm committing to like, okay, I've worked all these hours, I'm gonna take a structured break, and I'm gonna go back. Is Slay the Spire, and I do a run of Slay the Spire, and I would say I do that maybe once every 3 days lately. Like, so that's my only game time apart from when I'm downstairs with the boys. Sometimes I'm playing Mario with Finn, but again sparingly, maybe a couple times a week at most. I don't know. And I think that's it. Do you want to say thank you to some people, and then we'll go into the Patreon questions?
So V used 24 bits and says, I need a medic bag. I think that's when I said the name wrong. And Trent, Guy, and Stuff used 1 bit and says just a test. And Harper Wall resubscribed for 23 months and says, when will you make an official Joseph Anderson TikTok account? Because Harper is obsessed with TikTok.
Never. Is that a right answer? Never?
I don't know. Maybe not to him.
Is TikTok like the musical Vines, right?
I'm not sure.
Because I'm so musical. Actually, I am pretty
You're
musical.
pretty musical.
Isn't TikTok the name of a song by somebody? TikTok, make a pop, DJ, blow my speakers up tonight, Kesha.
And then there's the original, right? We're going back to Gwen. Who, said...
Tick-tock. That one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take a chance, you stupid hoe.
Take a chance, you stupid hoe, yeah.
Classic.
I mean... If classic has become a word for a bad song, sure.
I'm just saying it predates Kesha.
I'll earn your favor yet.
Oh man, alright, let's go for Ares, not Aphrodite. Okay, so first question from Patreon. I think is a shorter one, and then we'll go to the next one. And there's also a long question coming up for Lily, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I think Jack's question, right?
Yeah, is Jack here?
Jack was here. Jack, if you're not here, get here, because I made notes. We're gonna do this.
So let me update the name thing. 1 second. Oh, someone's reminding me in chat too. It's Kim K, right?
Yes.
Kim K. There we go. All right. Whoops.
Who's here?
I'm thirsty.
Do you want me to eat drink? I can read you the question and then I can go get you
I can go get one after this. I'm thirsty. These pretzels are making me thirsty.
Kim K says, love your videos. My fiance even watched the God of War video because she played the game through and she really enjoyed it.
Damn, that's a long video too. That's a tough one, for a tough sell to be the first video. Nice one.
Have you considered playing the Pokemon games? Pokemon is one of the biggest franchises that sells millions of copies and has done it over 20 years. Second question. Oh, okay. Do that one first.
I played Pokemon Red when it first came out when I was, I don't know, 13. I can't remember how old I was when Pokemon first came out. I was mildly obsessed with it. I watched the TV show for a while before the game came out. I played it to death. I was really excited when Gold and Silver came out. I played those as well. And after that, I kind of fell off. And I played Platinum as the next big one that I in the series. And then I think it was X and Y after that was the next big one that I played. And I tried to play Sun and I hated it. So I don't think those games are for me anymore. Yeah.
I will keep fighting.
As for like, I don't know. I feel like that's a series that hasn't stayed relevant to the people that grew up with it, and I don't really understand how there are so many adults that love Pokemon. I don't get it. Like it's one of those, like, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills moments that I just don't understand. You know, like there's all these people that really like all these games on like gaming forums and everything, and like I agree with them on so many issues, and then they're like, yeah, I still really like playing Pokemon. I'm like, what? Like, how do you still like playing Pokemon? Like it hasn't stayed relevant to like gaming trends. It's basically the same game over and over and over again. It's so tutorialized, you know, like it's not fun at all. It's not a good time. Whereas like I understand it with X and Y. Like it was like the first 3D one. It had a big like, woo, it's finally got something new. But it's still kind of the same. But you're coming back to the game, so it has some nostalgia, you know. But like, yeah, I don't really understand like these people that it's like their favorite franchise when it has barely gone through any changes since what, like around Platinum, right? Like it's definitely a different game than when it was in Red and Blue, for sure. But like arguably it's even less of a complex game now than it was in the Platinum run, wasn't it? I don't know. I've heard really good things about Black and White 2, so maybe I want to try and play Black and White 2 at some point. I heard that one was the best one, and the game should have continued doing more things like that they did in that one, but I've never been able to play it, so yeah, I don't know. Like I enjoyed my time with all the Pokemon games that I have completed. Like the only one that I've just been so disgusted by that I didn't bother finishing it was Pokemon Sun, because I just felt like it was just wasting my time completely. Like there was just so many. I think I gave up. If you played it in I think maybe the second town, maybe even the first town, when they're teaching you how to take pictures with the camera, and that was just like it felt like that was the 50th 50 tutorial, you know, in the game so far. And it just, and then after that I went to like a harbor and it was just talking just constantly. I just felt like, is this the whole game? Because if this is the whole game, I don't want to play it anymore. And that realization made me think, yeah, I don't want to play this anymore. So I just stopped, you know, like that was it. So like I just can't stand it. So as much as I want there to be a really good Pokemon game that I can get into, that's got, you know, tailored for an older audience or the audience that grew up with it, it just isn't there yet. So doing a series analysis on it is just never going to happen for me unless those changes happen. It's just not worth it. Going back to it seriously is going to be a hard sell for me. You know, like I feel like Nintendo, and I know it's not exactly Nintendo, it's Game Freak is their own thing, but I feel like there's a bunch of games like this are missed opportunities to cater to both ends at the same time. You know, like you can have a hard mode, you can have you can have optional side content at the end that some of them used to have, but it just doesn't really happen. So I think that's a shame. I don't even really have any ideas off the top of my head right now that I can tell you. You know, like I can't tell you right now, oh, this is what I would really like to see out of a Pokemon game. I have no idea. I don't have any real collected thoughts about it. I just know that what they have currently isn't for me. I also think that it's just a really like missed opportunity that they still haven't made like a Breath of the Wild style Pokemon game. I don't get it. I don't understand how we are so many decades after the original Pokemon launch and we still don't have a fully 3D open world run around and like a mix of like what the environments felt like in Pokemon Snap with like the freedom to walk around in a place that isn't like linear corridors connected like it is in the 2D Pokemon games. Like I don't understand how we haven't had that yet. I don't get it. It's really frustrating. It seems like an easy thing to design. It's not that don't like mistake that for easy thing to make. It's not. Like it would be very difficult to make, but it seems like an easy thing to design. You know, like here's what we have to do, and you know it would be very expensive. But like Game Freak is like Pokemon is like the biggest property in the world, isn't it? It's the biggest video game for sure. I'm not sure if it's the biggest one in the whole entire world, but yeah, it's up there. So I don't understand like why they haven't done that yet. You know, like it's weird. But yeah, so I don't know if I can answer any more about Pokemon. Sorry. My favorite Pokemon is probably Eevee. I like Eevee. I like Charmander. I like the dragon Pokemon. Despite the profile picture and the dragon thing, I'm not really all that into dragons. Like they're cool, but it's not like I'm not like there's no like fantasy monster I'm like, oh yeah, that's my favorite monster. Like, I'm not that kind of person. But yeah, I like some of the ghost Pokemon. You know, like I like some of the harsher kind of Pokemon, the more evil looking ones. Those are kind of cool. I'm not really a big fan of how a lot of the Pokemon tend to be anthropomorphic. Is that the right word? Like they kind of look like humans and animal mixed together. I'm not really a big fan of some of those Pokemon. Some of them are okay, but I'm not really that big of a fan of those. I don't know enough about art to say if the Pokemon designs are uninspired. I have no idea. I know that some of the Pokemon designs in the original are really bad. And some of the new ones are really bad too. I have no idea, but it would seem to me in general that I feel like they're running out of ideas and it's getting a little bit worse, but I don't know enough about it. What's your opinion on Dusk? I think I know him. He's alright. He's alright.
More flame wheels.
Like furries? Yeah, I'm sorry to disappoint all of you, but I am not a furry. I have nothing against furries, but I am not a furry. I have never been a furry either, and I don't think I ever will be one.
What about a scaly though?
Not a scaly either, not a feathery, not a fishy.
Those are ones too. I've never heard them before. Could be for all I know. Second question. Would you make your books into audiobooks? I prefer listening over reading and I find your voice great.
Oh man. Okay, so I said this a couple times before. I'm surprised that people like my voice. My voice is probably pretty bad tonight, actually. So maybe this is a good example to see why I'm so confused. I don't think I have a very good voice, but people seem to really enjoy it, and sometimes my delivery is good enough. I guess I don't know. I find that my voice is very changeable depending on how much sleep I have and what my energy level is, and etc. etc. So I can sound very different between videos and even between streams, and you know, like I feel like I have quite an emotional voice, but not in the way that many people probably think. You know, like when I have my presenter voice, I'm very monotone. Even that's on purpose. But by emotional voice, I mean that depending on who I'm talking to and what the topic is, like my voice is like it changes quite a bit. So I guess expressive maybe is the more correct word. I don't know. But yeah, I'm surprised that a lot of people like my voice, so that's good. So my answer to this question, because it's been asked a couple times before, but my answer to this question has always been not just no, it's been absolutely not. Fuck no, I'm never ever gonna do that. Absolutely fucking not. However, that's changed now because the reason why it used to be fuck no is because it would just be so much work. And I hate recording. I hate recording so much. It's the least favorite part of the whole entire process of making videos to me. I hate it. I hate it so much. I hate the audio editing. I hate recording it. I make so many mistakes. I have trouble maintaining that level of like presenter quality over a long amount of time. However, I don't know if it's streaming or if it's just because of just practice. I've gotten a lot better at it. So the only problem would be the length of the books and the length of the recordings that I would have to go through. And the thing is that like the Witcher video script is longer than any book that I've written. So that's I kind of already done it now already. So I've kind of got a taste for it, and now so it's like, okay, maybe it's something I could possibly do after all, even though I used to think that there was no way I would ever do it because the books are just so long. But yeah, the Witcher video is longer, so I guess I could do it if I really wanted to. I just don't know if there would be much of a market for it, if it would be worth my time doing it, or if I should hire someone else to do it instead of me. I don't know. Why do you do it then? Why do I do what then? Sorry.
Recording the videos, I think.
The recording? Well, because it's just part of the job, you know? Like, just because I don't like part of it doesn't mean I'm just gonna throw the whole job out the window, right? Yeah, that's why. So yeah, it's possible. I don't know when, you know, if it's not on the table at the moment, but maybe at some point. I don't know.
In the name of Hades.
How much would it cost to get someone to record the whole book? I'm gonna guess like we're talking easily thousands of dollars, right? How much? If it was performance, I'm guessing it's gonna cost like double, triple, maybe even quadruple. But if it's just basic like smooth reading,
Should probably make the physical copy of the book first.
Yeah, that too. That was supposed to be after Witcher, but that's not happening. Just been too busy doing The Witcher.
Rematch.
And that's it, Kincaid.
That's not good.
I don't think there's anything else I can say about that. I don't think I've ever listened to an audiobook. That would be something I would have to do too. I'd have to put in the time in to listen to an audiobook and see what they're like. Audiobooks are fantastic. Do they have different? Is it okay? So if someone was if there was an audiobook of Harry Potter, does the same narrator do the voice of every single character, or do they have someone like come in and do Hermione's part and someone else do Ron, someone else do Harry? Sometimes it depends. Okay. So it's not. So there's. I guess audiobook would be if the same narrator does the same thing, but if it's an audio performance, they would have different actors for it. Is there a distinction made between those two? Maybe there's not. Full cast is almost never good. IMO. Yeah, I think it would be mixed. I'm not sure if I would enjoy that. I'm not playing well. Alright, so I think that we need to move on to the next question. So let me update it. Bumblebee851. Okay, I feel kind of out of sorts tonight. Guys, sorry if this is turning into like a pretty bad stream. Sorry about that. Bumblebee851, right? That's it?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe it's the game. Maybe we need to move over to a different game. Let's see. So far it seems it's not too bad. Can you see it okay?
Yeah. Bumblebee851 says, "Hey Joe, I love your videos and can't wait to finally hear your thoughts on The Witcher. Alright, on to the questions. Given The Witcher video has taken a long time to put together, and as of writing this will take a while to finish and publish, what are your major takeaways from this monolithic project? How will you approach videos like this in the future?"
I won't. I mean, that's.
Hope you like this one because this is it.
I know that sounds like a joke, but it's not. I'm never ever doing anything like this ever again, ever. If there's ever a video that comes out on the channel that's like this, it's going to be like there's going to be a team involved in some way. You know what I mean? Like there's going to be like I'm going to have like a studio to make videos, and that's not going to happen. If I'm gonna have a studio to make anything, it's going to be games. So like I'm never doing anything like this ever again by myself. So but I still learn lessons going forward. Like for longer videos, you know, I should never try and juggle projects. It just doesn't work. I tried multiple times in order to juggle projects, but it never works out. The thing you got to realize though is that it's easy to say, you know, let's just commit the time to making a big video, and you know it'll be fine. Like there's times when it looks like interest is waning so much in the channel that like I have to make something, or I'm worried that we're gonna like the lack of uploads is gonna kill the algorithm that is tied to the channel. Turns out that's not true. The channel is actually getting more views right now than it ever has at a base rate. Like obviously when a new video goes out, it gets like a shit ton of views, and that's like the spikes that you can see back in the analytics. But right now at a base rate, without having released any new video, like the past couple weeks, it's gotten more views than ever. So it turns out that it doesn't seem to matter. Like you can take your time and make the projects, and it seems like YouTube's current version of the algorithm, which could change, doesn't really have any doesn't really mind if you do that. But it's easy to look back and see where we are now and think and not think okay, we could have committed more time much earlier to do it. When back then it was like, oh my god, like are we going to be able to move? Are we going to be able to afford to be able to get this mortgage? Are we going to like are people still continue watching? Is streaming gonna take off? Is YouTube gonna implode? Is the algorithm just gonna completely kill us? There's all these anxieties, and some of them are still there, but I've kind of eased up on it a little bit. I think that the channel is secure enough that even if things went through a very, very bad change, I think we would still be okay. You know what I mean? So trying to juggle multiple projects, the big one and the small one, so there's still content going up, like that's just can't happen. It's just too difficult. So that's gone. I misunderstood what I was doing in the game just now. Okay, well that sucks. Whoops. I think that making it all one big video is probably a mistake for this level of a project. I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. I thought, like, when you go back and watch that the line in the Witcher in the Patreon video, you'll see that you'll hear me say that the original video was supposed to be 4 hours long. Just the Witcher 1 part is 4 hours long, so just the first the first topic of the video is longer than I thought the whole entire video was going to be. And like back then I hadn't made the God of War video yet either, so I didn't know how my style was going to change to be even more example heavy, but also trying to put more effort into diving into discussing way more of the topics instead of just like blowing through some things and barely mentioning them. Just like, I don't know, like I tried very hard when writing the Witcher script to talk about things as quite in depth, and not just for gameplay, but also for themes and ideas that they explore. Like a lot of the subtleties of the story. Like that sort of thing. I think it's important. So I put a lot of effort into that. So there's a lot of discussion topics. It's like, I don't know, like 20 videos in one, something like that, maybe even more than that. I don't know, some ridiculous amount. Like all these different topics could be split out into their own videos, but instead it's its own thing. And it's the same kind of video that the smaller ones are. It's very much like going through the game section by section and taking exit ramps off whenever there's something that we can talk about, and then transitioning back, looping that topic back in to the main story. So I don't think I have an example for you without giving a spoiler for the video or something, but it would just you know, like you're talking about something that happens in a chapter, and then you get to a certain point where an idea is mentioned, like if monsters appear, like they're actually monsters or not. Like just because something is a monster doesn't mean it. Just because something looks like a monster doesn't mean it's actually a monster. So you get to that part in the chapter where that becomes relevant, and then you use that as an exit ramp to go and talk about the topic for, I don't know, like 1,000 words, 2,000 words, 3,000 words, however many words that it takes to discuss that topic. And then at the end of that, you bring it back and loop it back around to how this is relevant to the current part of the chapter that you're in, and then you smoothly transition back into continuing with what the events that are going on in the chapter of the game. That's how I write. That's how I like to structure the videos. And for me, that's the quality that makes the videos seem shorter than they actually are. Is this kind of bleeding of topics and everything. That's how I like to structure them, and that's my favorite part of writing. That's how I like to do it. So there's a lot of topics. So like back then, like I was thought that I could get through all that in just 4 hours, and like I said, that's just one of the parts. So I think that I guess a big mistake is trying to talk about it too much when I don't have enough information. Like, I should just shut the fuck up. But that's the problem, is like, if I shut the fuck up, there's no hype, and then the video isn't as successful. And you need to like be your own hype man sort of thing. And I'm really bad at that. And then I feel like people don't understand that it's estimates, and then I get into trouble where I feel like I'm letting people down. So I don't know what's correct. Like, if I, let's say there was another reality where I didn't announce that I was doing the Witcher project at all, and I didn't really talk about it, or I just mentioned it once and that was it, and I just never talked about it again until it was done. Like, would there be anywhere near the amount of excitement that there is? Because it seems like people are excited to watch this video. So would I be sitting here like with the same question right now, saying to you guys, you know, well, a mistake is actually not hyping it up as I'm going, and I should have teased you a lot as we went on, you know? Like maybe if I went the complete other way, maybe I would be maybe I'd have a completely different answer to this. I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea about that sort of thing. I think that splitting the videos up probably would have been a good idea, and structuring them differently. Maybe even playing Witcher 1, then making a Witcher on a video on Witcher 1, then playing Witcher 2, then making a video on Witcher 2. Like, not even playing the other games first. However, I really think that that's probably something that would benefit from the content being out faster, and also from my own sanity point of view. Like, reading the script back, watching the video back, what parts are already done. Like, I really feel like the video strongly benefits from having this like one big video structure, you know what I mean? Like, there are parts in The Witcher 1 where like I rush forward and talk about, and this is relevant in Witcher 3, blah 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 blah, you know, like I plant seeds for the conversation that's going to happen later. It makes the video and the points have like a very like intertextuality quality, you know what I mean? Like, it's all relevant, you know. We're not just talking about Witcher 1, that's the focus, but there's, you know, this is also relevant for later, you know, this also comes up in Witcher 2, you know, just all these little mentions, and with the books as well. Even I went back in, I even added notes about the show, you know what I mean? Like, there's even times where I say, hey, this is also relevant to what Yennefer goes through in the show, you know what I mean? Like, just things like that. I really feel like that the quality of the video, even though it's somewhat of a little thing, I really feel like the quality of the video skyrockets when you have that kind of thing. It makes it a lot more, I don't know if it's interesting or just more engaging to have that. But yeah, I feel like it's a great benefit to the video, but it's a hell of a lot more difficult to make it, for sure. So yeah, that's how I feel. So I don't know if what the what are the mistakes, but I think maybe teasing it less than I did, for sure. Definitely not trying to do other projects at the same time, just focus on it, and not giving out any estimates of when it was going to come out at all. I think it was a mistake to tell anyone that, hey, it might be out here, but I can't promise, you know. Things are tough. Like, there's multiple phases of this video that I've never had to do before. I just spoke about that on Twitter, and that's been tough. And it's like, I'm not gonna say it's a setback, because like it had to be done. I just didn't know it. But in terms of when I thought it would be done, yeah, it's added a shit ton of time to the video. I don't know. Is that enough? Do you think anything else from what I've said to you? Like, do you think I missed anything somewhere, or? Okay, so let me say this, because there's only 300 of you here, and that's a lot for a Q&A stream, but like I can say this and it's not going to ripple out too much because most of the audience isn't here for this, so you guys can know. There was a point that this video was 15 hours long. It is not 15 hours long, but I have cut it down. At a point, this video was that long. So, there we go. For how off my original plan was and what I thought it was going to be.
Vermin.
It's not 15 hours long anymore. It's 17 hours long now. 14 hours and 45 minutes. I managed, after months of trying to cut it down, I managed to get off 15 minutes now.
Joey will happily watch all of it because we are insane.
You can't watch this all in one go. I don't want you to. There's a line at the beginning of the video that says treat it like a series of a TV show that just went up, and you can come back and watch it, you know, like different parts of it, like it's different episodes. Like watch an hour at a time or whatever you need to do.
You're seeing that as a challenge.
You just can't, like it's unhealthy. Don't do it, man. Like, don't do it. You're not even gonna be able to follow it.
My friend and I are planning a watch party over a couple weeks.
Over a couple evenings?
Couple weeks.
Couple weeks? Okay. Couple weeks, that's reasonable. That's something that can happen. Yeah. But yeah, after this is done, I'm taking some time off. I don't know how much time I'm taking off. I will still stream, but I might take a week off from streaming too when it's done, but we'll see. I'm taking some time off, but I'm not going to make any videos for a little while. And yeah, that's it for me. I'm never doing a project like this ever again. Ever again. Never, ever, ever again. It's too much. Way too much.
Any plans to write any more books?
From Bumblebee? Or is that
No.
from your chat?
From Orange Owl?
Yes.
Orange Owl. Yeah, I have lots of plans for books. Not just in the series that I started and I haven't finished yet because what happened on Amazon. Like, I couldn't continue writing. I had to find something else to do in order to make myself look attractive to an agent and a publisher. And then the channel just took off and I didn't have to pursue that anymore. If the channel had been less successful, then I would probably be a writer right now instead of the video maker / streamer. And I don't know if that would have been better. I'm curious about that. I wonder about that sometimes, like if that would have been better. But anyway, I have lots of books in my head that I would like to write at some point. I don't know when I'm going to be able to get back to them, but yeah, I have 2 series I would like to finish, and also some like a lot of books that aren't fantasy or sci-fi, genre fiction, you know, that I would like to get to eventually. I have a really good serial killer story that I want to write. I've wanted to write that for like almost 12 years now.
Okay, so to continue with Bumblebee. What do you do when you're sick? I usually nap 2 times more and drink lots of tea and ignore being sick, which admittedly hurts more than it helps.
What's that line from How I Met Your Mother?
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
So I just stop being sick and be awesome instead.
Yeah. I don't really get sick, so I feel I don't know. Okay, so my whole entire life is defined by my sleep disorder, narcolepsy, and narcolepsy makes me feel kind of shitty often, you know, like, so there's always part of me that kind of feels a little bit sick all the time. Like I don't sleep very well, so I wake up often like achy and kind of just like a tiny little bit of a flu, you know what I mean, like that sort of thing.
Rundown.
So yeah, I don't, but in terms of like full-blown sick, like I think I've only ever had the flu twice. The worst time I've ever been sick was you and I got sick together, remember? It was the worst.
Virus.
That was the worst time I've ever been sick.
I think I got that from work.
Yeah, I just acted like my normal self, and I would just kind of like just put up with it. I'm not that kind of person that is like really miserable and just whines all the time when they're sick. But I am uncomfortable and I don't like it. I really dislike having like a blocked nose or like I can't hear. Before we moved to Moncton, I flew here, and when I flew back, I had like my ear was blocked, and it triggered like I was already having like a little bit of an ear infection, and the flight triggered like the ear infection to get way worse, and I couldn't hear out of my left ear for, oh god, I don't know, like I think it was something like 2 weeks or something, and I was just this is gonna sound really petty, but I wanted to kill myself. Like there's just something about like the constant like reminder constantly, hey, you can't hear, hey, you can't hear, hey, you can't hear, hey, you can't unblock this here, hey, you can't unblock this here. Like it was driving me fucking crazy. So like little things like that really like irritate me a lot. But yeah, I don't really get sick all that often. Like I fucking hate it. Eventually, what I did was I tried to go into the bath to get water in my ear to equalize the pressure between both sides. That didn't work. In fact, it just made it worse. And I would get more frustrated. And then I looked up all these different techniques, and I kept trying them over and over and over again. And then one day, I like just got really angry. They said that you can like close your nostrils with like pinch your nostrils and then like try to exhale through your nose, and it'll blow out your ears. And they say you're not supposed to do that very hard, because if you do it too hard, you can like rupture your eardrum. Apparently your ear can recover from that, which is, I thought once you rupture your eardrum, that was it. You just can't hear anymore, but apparently you can recover from it. I didn't know that. Anyway, and so I was doing it gently because I didn't want to rupture my ear, because that sounded worse. And one day I just got really angry after like suffering with it for like over 2 weeks. And I just blew like really fucking hard, and I finally unclogged my ear. Like it finally burst open, and I wanted to cry. I was so close to crying. We were outside walking at the time. Remember, we were going to the doctor for the kids, and I just wanted to cry when it happened, because I was so relieved. But I don't know if that was the right decision to do or not. That could have gone wrong if I had like ruptured my eardrum. I don't know. Yeah, I'm fucking miserable for that. But when it comes to being sick, yeah, I'm not sick enough often to tell you. I think I would just go along with it, you know? Like, usually if I do get some sort of sick coming on, I just sleep. I sleep a lot, and then I feel better. Like, there've been like 1 or 2 times where I've woke up like suddenly having like a fever and chills, and I'm just like shivering in bed like crazy. Like, oh my god, where did this come from? And I just go back to sleep, and then when I wake up, I'm fine. So for whatever reason, I just kind of sleep it off, and I'm okay. But what about you, Lily? Like, you can answer this question too. You get sick a little more often than I do, but you don't get sick all often either.
I used to when I was working, because I worked in a restaurant and there was no you call in sick. People were coming in sick all the time because we were short-staffed, so everyone would be sick. I'll never forget the time I worked with, I was hostessing that night. No, I was waitressing. And there were 3 other waitresses on the floor, and one of the girls came up and said, the table doesn't want me to serve them because I'm sick. They want another server who's not sick, and we all just looked at each other, and there was only one of us who could take the table because we were all sick. So we just would keep giving it to each other, and it would pass back and forth. And I was just like sick all the time. Kind of a really bad environment for germs and stuff like that. Yeah, with food around, because they don't have enough people, so they don't give a shit. Like, you come to work, and if you're sick too much and you can't come in, then you go find somewhere else to work, because they're not going to put up with it. They don't care about that. It doesn't matter if you're working with food or not.
Hey Jake, how's it going?
But yeah, I used to get sick quite often when I was working. I don't know, you just have to get up, right? Like, what are you gonna do? Well, like, I would miss time because of mental health, right? So I couldn't really miss time from mental health and from being sick on top of that.
That's
you can only get so many sick days, right?
The cruel joke of having a chronic problem is that, you know, if you have a chronic mental disorder, or if you have a chronic like illness either, like you still get the regular illness on top of that. It's not like, oh, you know, like I'm bipolar, therefore I never get the flu. You know what I mean? Like that's the problem, right? Like, it's not fair.
Yeah, I would miss a lot of time, especially when I was first like trying medications and stuff like that, and right before then, I'd miss a lot of time from the depression, and especially from the mania, because I was scared to go in and have people see me like that. So I would especially stay home on those days. But I would try to then go in. I used to get migraines from the weather for a long time, until I had Finn, actually. I used to get migraines with aura. So I would sometimes, if we were getting like rain or snow, or the temperature dropped really quickly or something.
Do you want to explain what aura is real quick? Because anyone doesn't know. I don't know if that's a common term or not.
Is when you have like, I used to get like, I felt like someone was pushing on my eyes, and everything would go gray, and I'd feel like I was gonna pass out, and I'd get very dizzy and very lightheaded, and sometimes I'd see like the lights would kind of flash, and like you get like, I don't know how really to describe it, but you get like a visual aspect to the migraine. It wasn't just pain, you know, or throbbing or anything like that. I would get nauseous. Sometimes I would be sick. Like it would be very, very bad for stuff like that.
What does they say if the difference between a migraine and a headache to know if you have a migraine is if you push between your nose? Like above your eyes and between your nose. If you push there and it hurts a lot, then it's a migraine.
If it's a
not
migraine,
headache.
because I feel it in my face, if that makes sense. When I feel it in my cheeks and I feel it in my jaw, and I can sit here and I can repeatedly just open and close my mouth, and my jaw will keep cracking over and over again, and my cheeks will feel like they're cracking, and that's how I know it's not just a headache, because I feel it in places like. Would always feel like it was coming up my neck, and then it would like wrap around my head and into my temple, and then I would feel it in my face and in my eyes, and that's how I knew it was a migraine. But yeah, I used to get those fairly regularly until I had Finn, and then I don't know if something happened hormonally that I don't get them. I get them very rarely now. Maybe once or twice a year I'll get them now, instead of pretty chronically.
Yeah, you don't get them much anymore. You used to get them all the
And I
time.
used to have stomach issues. I had stomach surgery when I was a teenager, and I used to have like. If I'd eat certain foods and stuff, they would bother me, and I think from stress too. I think I used to have a lot of problems with like stressed stomach, you know, like irritable bowel kind of. I'd have cramping and pain and everything like that, and I don't really get that now that I'm not going to work anymore. I think work was a bad place for me sometimes, that it would set me off, and my parents would set me off, and I don't have them anymore either, so I kind of removed my different triggers, I guess, for certain things. I don't have those issues anymore now. Now it's pretty much mental health. I don't go out enough to get sick anymore, so it's just if it's a bipolar day or not. And I'm on medication, so at least they're less than they used to be, so. But yeah, for physical illness, I don't get too much anymore.
What shall it take for you to cease with this
When you do,
madness?
though, I think you just have to look after yourself. It's a sign that you're supposed to slow down, and if you need to drink the tea, drink the tea. If you need to throw up, go throw up. If you need to get some extra rest, go get some extra rest. And I would say that for mental health too. If you need to drink the tea and get some rest and do what you gotta do, then you just take a day for yourself, and I think a little goes a long way for that. If you keep fighting back against it and pretending it's not there, it doesn't make it go away. It just means you're not really dealing with it, right? So you shouldn't like give into it completely and just say I'm staying in bed for the rest of the week and I'm not getting up, and sometimes I felt like that made me feel worse. We were just kind of completely like, no, this is me now, you know, I'm on the couch.
Isn't it even for physical injuries they say that now, right? They say that they used to have like prescribed bed rest for a lot of issues and even post-surgery and stuff, and now they're saying that's actually a really, really bad idea and everything.
Well,
is
even
like,
for surgery, like when I had the stomach surgery and when I had all the kids too, right? So it's similar, like a physical thing you go through. They make you walk right away. They make you get up and they make you walk around, and it's not like you just stay in bed and you don't do anything. It's like, no, they want you mobile, you know. I just think you have to listen to your body. Don't make excuses for yourself so you don't have to deal with it. That's going to the other end of the spectrum, right? Too far, but like,
what if my
ignore it.
body is telling me to eat an entire box of Jaffa cakes?
Well, then you're going to be sick. That's one way to do it. That's the line between the mental and the physical too, right? If you go too far, you know, self-medicating with Jaffa cakes because you're feeling depressed, well, you're going to be spending some time in the bathroom later. You're going to be feeling the end of that physical end of it, so. But yeah, they make you move, so I think that moving is probably good. In those more extreme situations. Remember, I was baffled. The nurse came in and said, you have to get up and walk to the bathroom and everything now. And I was like, I just had surgery, lady. Like, you expect me to get up? And she was like, yeah.
Enough of you.
I was like 14. I didn't understand that was what you're supposed to do. And same thing after you have a baby. It's like you get up and you move.
You waste your strength.
Had Kate, and then I walked all the way down to the hall to another corridor of halls, and like, you know, like, I don't know, half an hour later, and here's your room, and
Your body's way more resilient. You think
it totally is. You don't think it's going to be, right? You think after going through something like that, your body's going to be like, hell no, but know that you can do it. You get up and you move. Oh, and Runa Gamer had a question about narcolepsy and sleep apnea, and they're not the same thing, but that you can have both. You can have some overlap with your sleep disorders.
Yeah.
But one is not the same as the other.
Sleep disorders are really fun like that.
Oh, that hurt.
Go home, boy. War is inevitable.
You're welcome.
You are blast. Fair.
Cool, we got him again. Nice. I didn't think I was going to be able to do that again. Got lucky.
Bye.
That's my second time beating him ever.
I did it. Stygius shuddered as I picked it up.
Was that it from Bumblebee?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna go down and get a drink as soon as I get out of this, and then we'll go to the next person.
Our tale of the underworld's determined
Do you want to
prince
be a deer?
cannot further continue at this time. But time does not stand
You want a drink too?
Yeah.
What are you drinking?
Can you give me like half of lemonade?
Lemonade.
Yes.
Wow.
For now, there is no more to say or
see.
show from here.
Please.
So let us see instead that sadness.
While playing Sekiro, did it ever piss you off how often the character would die immediately after talking to you? Whoa! Oh my god! All right, sorry. I had beans for dinner. No, it's the I put the controller down. It's rumbling on the desk.
Did pretty well.
No,
that
I don't really remember that. Is that something that happens a lot? I don't really remember that. All right, so here, I'm putting it back on the desk.
Is that safe?
It should be. Oh god. Oh no. Oh god. I'm sorry, Sapkowski. I'm sorry. All your books just went all over the floor.
This room is too small for both of us. For one of us, even. Lily's stream, how's everybody? What secret? No, I don't want to play the game. I don't know how to play the game. Lily's streams are not about playing games, they're just about talking. Doing well, I have a D&D session in 10 hours, but I don't know if I can prepare while listening to the Q&A. You can always catch the VOD after if you have to prepare for it. Favorite non-fiction book? Probably something on the Tudors. I love Tudor England. Do I ever play games? I was actually playing Super Mario World with Finn earlier today. And he, like, put his hands on either side of my face, like, you know, framing my face, and said, "Mommy, good job beating the castle." So, there you go. Highest of compliments. Favorite horror movie? I don't really have a favorite horror movie, I don't think, that comes to mind anyway. The Haunting of Hill House, favorite sitcom, favorite show, that scared the crap out of me, so I would say that. With my girlfriend dealing with her chronic back pain, the idea of having to take time off work each time she has to flare up is very relatable when hearing you guys talk about being sick and dealing with bipolar and epilepsy. Yeah, I bet it is. I've had back problems for a while myself. Working in the restaurant, I hurt my back on the job. I went into the fridge to get something when I was stocking the fridge in the front, and one of the beer kegs started to wobble, and I kind of shifted with my hands above my head holding something to block the keg from falling on me, and I did something to my back, and it was years of physiotherapy before. And I couldn't waitress for a while. We took a hit financially, and it was so awful having to call in and be like, yeah, I hurt my back. So yeah, I remember that. Luckily it's not so bad now. Favorite regular viewer? You, of course.
Here, can you take this? And take this. I'll be right back.
You're my favorite, because you always ask after me, and I'm vain, so I like that. No, Nova Canoe said favorite regular viewer, so it's Nova Canoe, right? And all of you. Me. If you show me Lily Love, I will show it right back. Will you ever come back to the Minecraft server again for another Q&A? Probably. It's just a little bit distracting. I don't know what kind of music Banks is. She's kind of electro... something. My favorite top lolly is you, top lolly. Do I watch those videos? I used to all the time at the beginning, and then when Leo got big enough that he couldn't be contained anymore, I couldn't watch them all the time. But we read the scripts together, we edit them together, so I always know what he's talking about, even if I don't see the video. I am editor Lily. Weirdest thing Joe has exposed me to? I don't know. What's weird? Do I write it all? I do write. I have 2 books on Amazon under Lily Evans, Lily with an I. I write murder mysteries. We don't have any merch planned, but maybe one day when things calm down, we will.
The Finster sends his regards.
Lily, we want to see Lily streams because we like you, not for the novelty factor. That's nice.
I was thinking of some good merch for Mandalore.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So do you know, let me see if I can find these.
Yeah, they wrecked Peggle for me, Jack. They wrecked it. How was I supposed to know that's what it's called?
Okay, so you know these t-shirts? Hold on, I'm gonna put on the screen. Mandalore should do this. Okay, so you know these t-shirts?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of legend, it should be the man, the lore. Eh? Got it?
That's good, yeah.
Yeah? That's what merch you should have.
You should totally do that.
Yeah, that would be good merch for Mandalore,
Yeah, that would
wouldn't
be
it?
really
Yeah.
good. That'd be perfect.
Ooh, this chair squeaks.
Yeah.
A Mandalore. Thank you to the following people.
And thank you for the lemonade.
You're welcome. Top Ollie has reached the scarf for 5 months. Roar ×3 Nuzzles. How are you? Pounces on you. You're so warm. 030. What? Notices you have a bulge. Oh, someone's happy. Nuzzles your necky. Mur. He.
That sounds like Top Lolly.
Top Lolly has gifted the sub to Joe is actually a lolly.
Sounds like Top Lolly.
I'm not saying thank you. Your voice is great tonight. Thank you, Harper Wall. And Sky Caesar says it too. Thank you, Sky Caesar. Thank you for the 2313 sub as well. Thank you. Puckered Starfish used 266 bits. An odd number of bits. Well, it's even, but you know what I mean. Do you feel as though specific game developers show contempt for their costumers? What? I've got Bethesda in mind for this question. I don't know what I'm going for here. Maybe pop off in a patented rant. Their costumers? Like, you mean cosplayers? I don't understand the question. Sorry, Puckered Starfish. Are you still here? And can you clarify? Consumers. Oh, fucking.
Costumes.
No, I don't think there's any developer I can point to and say contempt. Contempt is a very strong word. I think that there are some developers that absolutely take advantage of their consumers. Yeah, for sure. They are way out of line. Bethesda's one of them. Yeah.
Everything under control.
EA for sure, and we were talking about this on Discord I think yesterday. how they like some game developers for microtransactions. You'll like this, Lily. So if you're in a microtransactions, you pay money to get like cosmetic upgrades. So you're in a Call of Duty, which is like a shooting game, and you can get, I don't know if Call of Duty has microtransactions like this because I don't play it, but let's just assume it does. So you can have like a golden cloak and a golden sword or whatever, a golden gun, so you look really special. And what they'll do is they have algorithms that will make sure that when you play the game, you're queued into matches against people that don't have that. So you look like the cool like person that has it all.
So is it kind of like in Stardew, if like you could wear clothes and you could pick out your outfits?
Yeah, it's sort of like that. Yeah. So they'll put you into matches, so more people will see you, so you become like an advertisement for it without even knowing it. That sort of thing. So is that contempt? Maybe to some people that might qualify as contempt. I don't think that's contempt. I just think that's exploitative. Like contempt to me is hatred. Like contempt is like I fucking hate our fan base. They're making us.
Contempt is really
extreme.
extreme.
Like they're making us continue making these games and we don't want to make it. That sort of thing. That's how I view contempt. But I think that. Whoa. Oh, this didn't do what I thought it was going to do. Okay, never mind. Yeah, I don't think that's contempt. I think that's just maybe thinking that your user base is stupid or just taking advantage of them.
Spirit.
Can you tell Joe his Twitter says Maddie made his avatar? He did. Yeah, he did. What are you talking about? It's the same as it's always been. It's just the same dragon.
I sense the...
I'm getting somewhere, I guess.
It's more indifference than contempt. I don't even think it's indifference. I definitely think it's stronger than indifference. I don't know. I would say it's closer to contempt than indifference, actually. Deep pockets. Each rank gives you 10 minutes. Sorry, just keep from House of Hades. Each rank. Oh, let's get thick skin.
I guess you could say it's the time of contempt.
Jake, did you read that far? I know you read the short stories. Did you read the other ones? Time of Contempt is that's a book. I think Baptism of Fire is the worst one. But Time of Contempt is where it starts to be like fuck no.
I need the rail.
Okay, so we can upgrade the gun, or we can upgrade the spear.
Time to give that thing some work, I guess.
Have you heard of gacha games? I think I have, yeah. I don't know much about them, though. Pocket Starfish, you submit to say the Harry Potter audiobooks are done very well. Doesn't Stephen Fry voice some of those? I think I heard about that. An average audiobook created by Find Away Voices has about 50,000 words and costs between 1,000 and 2,000, says Harper Wall. Oh, okay, that's a lot more affordable than I thought for that amount of words. Okay. I'm guessing it varies, though. Thank you, Thomas Ice, for the 3-month resub. Thank you very much.
Clawfist.
Thank you, Stained Porcelain, for the 26-month resub. Thank you very much. Always fun saying your name. Thank you, Eddie BR, for the 300 bits. Pet the Doggo, Franker Z100, Franker Z100, Franker Z100. Is Franker Z where a Yaya comes from? That's dangerously close to a Yaya for me. I think we did pet the Doggo, didn't we? Maybe we can go back and pet the Doggo. We'll do that just for you. Thank you, Mr. David Oz, for the 12-month resub. Welcome to the 1 year club, Mr. David Oz. Thank you very much. Hope you're well. Happy New Year. I can keep saying that for the rest of the month, can I? Happy New Year.
Yeah, probably. It's only 3 weeks in.
1 year Clawfist.
1 year Clawfist.
And thank you, Crazy Fist.
Oh, they need a Clawfist.
For this. For the 2-month resub.
Crazy Fist gets a crazy Clawfist.
But they also said a Yaya, so did they?
Oh, well, too late now. I already put it out there.
You guys
can't
see,
take it back. You can't take a Clawfist back.
See this here? Is this a mistake? See how the stairs don't line up? Do you see it?
Yeah, I do see
Is this an error, or do I not understand the perspective?
Kind of have a wave to them.
That's just how stairs are in hell. That's true. That's true. Okay, so who is the next person on Late Treon? It is...
Incoets.
In cahoots. Incoets. That's
And
about
they're
right.
here.
How's it going, Incoets? Did you guys hear NMM's latest La My O? No, I didn't know. Was it good? Oh, also, I asked Patreon and Twitch, is that okay if I do both? You mean you pasted on Patreon and on Twitch? The same questions? Like, that's fine. Yeah, I don't mind that. If you did both, like if you asked a set of questions as a patron and then you asked a set of questions as a Twitch sub, I don't know about that. Like that seems fair to me. Like you could just, you know, sub under a different name and just not tell us, right? It seems fine, but you know, I don't know if I want to encourage that behavior.
Let me see you now for what you truly are.
Yeah, he'd rather encourage you to just not tell us.
Anyway, go for it.
Incoet says, Oi, Joseph, and Lily Saw.
My shield.
Quick question. Favorite salad and why is it Caesar?
Caesar salad, yeah.
They know you, huh?
Yeah, Caesar salad. I like. I don't like Parmesan cheese, but I will eat it on a Caesar salad. Yeah. I don't like a lot of dressing. I find that Caesar salad dressing can be overpowering, and but I like the garlic in it. Like it's nice. But I feel like it can be too strong, and it can make the lettuce kind of soggy. But yeah, Caesar's my favorite. I don't really like any other type of salad. I don't think.
I like spinach and I like Greek, but I think Caesar's probably my favorite too, and just in that I would get that one most often. But spinach salad with poppy seed dressing is really good too. I really like poppy seed dressing.
You were once father's spear.
Extended director's cut. What about puzzle games makes you want to dive deeper into them and 100% them? Between The Witness, Steven Sausage Roll, and potentially Baba Is You videos, it seems as though either, like platformers, you are particularly skilled at the game type, or that you have an indomitable drive to conquer the challenges. I generally struggle for a bit, lose interest, or keep fiddling with different operations until I get it right, which can lead to a variety of outcomes ranging from I am a genius to why didn't I try this earlier, to keep installed and never play again out of pride. Maybe also relevant to Lily for Tetris type games, but those make a little more sense to me in the sense to be in the meaning of eventual failure staved.
It's cut off.
Is it?
Yeah, it's cut off. Hold on. There you go. Is that better?
Those make a little more sense to be in the meaning of eventual failure staved off with extreme skill.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I don't think I'm particularly that good at puzzle games. I think that my completion times for Steven Sausage Roll are good. I think my completion time for The Witness is pretty good. Baba Is You, I'm not sure. I don't really have a first completion time for Baba Is You because I played it on the Switch, and I didn't really, and like I would put it down, I'd walk around with it, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't really structured time like it was with other games. I have no idea how long it actually took me to beat Baba Is You, but I was playing that a fair amount over like a week or so, and like talking on Discord about it as well, and saying like what the completion time for that is might even be a spoiler even. I just really like being challenged. I don't know what it is about games that really get to me, but like I don't really consider movies or TV shows to ever be challenging. I'm sorry if you are like a film buff, or if you think that's the case for some TV shows. I find that just watching a TV show is too much of a passive kind of activity, that passive experience, and there's just so much information that you can gather from the visual storytelling as well as everything else that's going on. I'm sure that there are some things that you can dive deep into, but like any challenge that's in that and trying to work out what the major themes and messages are of TV and movies doesn't really appeal to me that much. I don't see that there's that much there. combined with video games and even reading. Like reading a book, it can be very, very challenging. Sometimes it can be challenging to really fully understand what the author is saying. Sometimes it's a flaw. Like sometimes it's a bad thing that you can't understand what the author is saying. Other times it's intentional. You're supposed to be challenged by it. There's a fairly good interview with David Foster Wallace, if we're still allowed to like him, after he came out that he kind of stalked the girl. I can't remember, but like he talks about how like TV is so easy and it's such a passive activity, and a lot of people don't want to have challenging experiences with narratives and storytelling now with books. And I haven't read anything by David Foster Wallace, so I have no idea if his books qualify for that. But I can see the appeal of that. But again, like reading a book is like, there have been some books that have got to me. Like Catch-22 is something that was the first book when I was a late teen that I finally understood why literary criticism exists and why people become literary analysts. I finally understood it. Until then, I thought it was just a bunch of masturbatory bullshit. That like, why would anyone want to subject themselves to picking apart stories and reading way too much into it? And then I read Catch-22, and that's part of why it's my favorite book. Is just Catch-22 is like, oh my god, I get it. Like I finally get why people do this. Like this is the kind of book that I could study for a long time, and I could like analyze paragraphs and chapters and sections and like cross-reference different sections and piece it together, you know, like that sort of thing. So I was very that kind of made it click for me. But games more than anything get me for the challenge aspect. And I think maybe it's just because when okay, so this is gonna make me sound a little bit like a brainlet. I feel like even though I just said that about Catch-22, I do still think that literary criticism can go too far, and I do think like at a generous estimation, I'm pretty sure that half of it still is bullshit. I think that half of what goes on in literary analysis is still reading way too much into it and projecting your own desires onto a text. And maybe that's the point. Maybe you are supposed to. Maybe that's what art is meant to be to a lot of people. Maybe it's meant to be just like. It's like a problem with satire. So satire is an issue. Is that if you present an issue under the guise of satire, a lot of people are going to take it however they want to take it that supports their point. So if you are like the satire video I did on TX Runner, like some people are going to go into that and they're going to say, okay, well, this is clearly not TX Runner, Cuphead. This is clearly making fun of that the journalist that played that game, which it isn't. This is clearly making fun of the idea that that reviewers should be skilled in games, which it is. Or this is clearly making fun of the backlash. Like whatever the satire is, anyone can read into whatever they want. They come with their own biases, and it reinforces their own bias no matter what. It's very rare that someone's going to watch or read a piece of satire and look at that and go, oh, okay, I'm going to now change my mind. They're just going to be reinforced. And I kind of feel like that's what happens when people analyze art, is that they read into it whatever they want to. So they will look at they'll look at their own political beliefs and their own moral beliefs, and they'll watch a movie or a TV show or read a book, and they will come from that and be like, oh, this is this art is clearly about how can I say this without angering some people? I'm not saying doing this is right or wrong, but like to look at it and go, this piece of art is clearly about racism in America. This piece of art is clearly about colonialism. This piece of art was clearly supposed to be about colonialism, but it's not enough, and that's why it's a flaw. You know, like they'll bring whatever they want to it and then apply it, and I feel like in half of the time, at least, that's not fair. And diving into that takes work. Like it takes active participation from you, in the same way that playing a game requires active participation from you. So I think that why games appeal to me a lot more is that the game is definitely on the like, you know that you're supposed to be doing that sort of thing. You're on the right track. The game responds to your attempts to understand it. The game responds and congratulates you on when you are doing it correctly. And sure, you can do that for games when it comes to the story and more interpretational sides of it, but gameplay is very pure. It's very untainted by any interpretation that you might bring to it. And some people think that's very limiting, but to me, I like the challenge of having entertainment that isn't just passive, just sitting there, just letting it wash over you. You have to be an active participant, and you know that you're actually like doing something that's meant to be that you're doing something that's meant to be challenging in the way that it was meant to be challenging. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I used to think that it was all bullshit, but I've eased up on that quite a bit considerably, but I still think that a lot of it is, and it's quite frustrating. Like sometimes I see tweets, I see articles online, and sometimes they're talking about games, because a lot of people that review games and talk about games are so desperate to bring this to games, and it's just so cringy trying to apply, like, I'm not going to say the examples because I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, but could you imagine coming to Doom and being like, Doom is about white privilege? Like, could you imagine doing that to Doom? Because, like, to me, that's how ridiculous it sounds when other people have done it to X, Y, and Z games that I don't want to talk about because I don't want to name names. You know what I mean? Like, that's how ridiculous it sounds to me. Like, when people do this to games, you know, like when it comes to a game like Disco Elysium, okay, absolutely for sure. Like, it's clear that there's a lot going on politically about that game. You know what I mean? Like, but when it comes to those kind of games, other kinds of games like Doom, like that area, it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, it's so off. Doom is Doom. So I think that's why I don't consider myself to be very, very good at video games. There are some genres that I'm better at than others, you know. Like I seem to do well with this kind of game. I seem to do well in platformers. Puzzle games I'm not so sure, but yeah, I
My aspect grows stronger.
I think that's it. I hope that I've understood the question properly.
Felt nothing there, sorry.
And Coetz, you're here, right? Did I understand the question properly? Is that a decent enough answer? Yeah? Okay, cool. All right, just want to make sure.
Stuck me good.
Need to reload.
Next question is for Joe and Lily. How much do you value silence? Obviously, it is at a premium at the moment, given the 3 kids, but I tend to work best with white noise in the background and only really value silence during moments of introspection and relaxation. Hopefully, I will be in the chat to help with any questions, and best of luck in the new year.
Okay, so I don't know what I am. I don't know what I am. Like, am I an introvert or am I an extrovert? I don't know. Like, I feel like putting people into those kind of categories is probably too rigid, and it doesn't really.
You're both.
Yeah, you know, I feel like most people are probably somewhere in between. But I do have introverted tendencies. I do have extroverted tendencies.
You do need some time every day by yourself. And
that's what I need. Yeah, so I'm gonna say, like, my introverted tendencies is that for like probably as much as an hour, maybe even more, I need time for myself, just to be by myself. So I think that
I'm after, no need to turn the heat up this high.
So I think that silence is a part of that, and there are times where I don't even want to listen to music. I just want to be like completely silence. Although I think that music can be a form of silence, can it? If you just have it like washing over you, you're not really paying attention to it, it's just drowning out the world. You know, it's just noise. It's just kind of like white noise, you know, that sort of thing. I don't know.
What's life without a little pain?
I know it sounds silly, but yeah.
Living on Olympus here, I'm surrounded by my family, but
yeah, silence is a very rare occurrence here. I tend to be up later than Lily is, so I get to experience it more. But Lily, you've been getting up earlier, and you get some silence in the morning, right? So you kind of have a little bit.
I don't know. I feel like I get up in the morning, and I feel like I'm stressed from the minute I get up, because I know I only have X amount of time before they're going to get up. And so I have to get everything done in like that little amount of time. And it is quiet, I guess, but I feel like because I feel like I'm rushed, I feel like I can't enjoy the quiet. Mm-hmm. It's like I'm making noise for myself. It's like if I wake up and I have an hour or two to exercise or whatever before they get up, the whole time I'm thinking, after this, I better have to get in the shower, have to get in the shower. Okay, they're going to get up, and then we have to give them breakfast, and I have to do this, and I have to, like, it's right from the beginning. It's like I'm pedaling, and I'm thinking about all the things already that I have to get, you know, the faster I get through this, you know, the faster I can get on to the next thing, kind of, you know? Mm-hmm. So even though it's quiet, that's the time I like when they go to bed, but it's not all the same, because, you know, Kate will be awake, or Leo might be asleep, Finn's not, and, you know, so it's just because it's bedtime doesn't really mean shit around here. Like, they're still awake
that's true.
anyway.
It doesn't matter.
But and then you have to kind of listen for them. But my favorite thing is when I know all of them are asleep and I can put my headphones on and I can blast music at levels that I probably shouldn't have that up that high. But I just feel like it just kind of, I can just zone out. Because
so is that your silence?
It's my silence. Yeah. Is just like, I look forward to the really loud music of just... And then if I want to write in my journal or I want to think about what happened or what I'm going to do tomorrow or what I should be doing that I didn't get done or whatever, that's my business. But I just kind of feel like I have my loud music on. And I don't get to do it every day because they might not be, I'll be asleep in time, but I look forward to that. And I really notice when they're all needing something, I miss the quiet. Sometimes it's like you'll be up here doing work or you're doing a stream or whatever, and like it's usually when I'm alone and I get overwhelmed because I'm alone. It's like Finn will be trying to show me something that he's drawn a picture and he wants to show me and explain to me about the picture, but she's crying because she's hungry, and then I need to get her bottle ready, and then Leo comes to me and goes, "Mommy, I need a nappy," and then I have to drop everything and change Leo, and then Finn's trying to shove the picture in my face, and then it's like looking at the time, oh, I should have started dinner already, and it's like it's just noise, like they're running around, they're playing on those stupid fire truck toys that they ride around on that they're not supposed to, and it's just the wheels grinding along the floor, and she's wailing, and it's like I just want to bang my head on the counter and go, quiet, 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 over and over and over again.
He's cute when he's doing that, when he's singing though. He's riding around his fire truck on.
Oh, he's so cute. And I can't say no, don't do it because there's nothing wrong with what he's doing, but those are the moments where I'm like, do you remember when it used to be quiet? Like, do you remember back when? Yeah. When and anyone, it was so quiet.
Anyone in chat who doesn't have kids, which I'm gonna assume is most of you. If that's wrong, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna assume most of you here don't have kids. Like every single person, without a single exception that I've ever spoken to, who has kids, has said this phrase, and I 100% agree with it. I don't understand what I used to do before I had kids. Mm-hmm. They'll say that. So just take it from two people that aren't that old. We joke about being so old, but we're not that old. Take it from people that aren't that much older than you, who have 3 kids. That is 100% true. So just imagine having a kid to look after and how much time that's going to take. And it's not like you do become a different person when you have a kid. You absolutely do. But you don't become like so much of a different person that you just get magical time management powers. It's just the equivalent of like, do you know when there's something you need to do and you just don't do it? Well, when you have a kid, you just have to do it. Like you just get into this point where you just have to do it. So if you can make yourself do that before you have kids, which again, most of you probably will have kids. Let's see. Statistically, most of you probably will. If you can get yourself into that phase before that, and you have all that time to do all the things that you want to do, not even be productive. It can be just for fun things too. If you can get yourself in that mindset early, like you will be way far ahead in life if you can find out how to do it.
And that kind of relates back to the other question about when you're sick and stuff. Well, when you're sick, you're getting up anyway, and if you're tired and you want to have a nap, well, you're not. So, or it's bedtime and you want them to go to bed so you can go to bed. That's the exact night when they're not going to bed. Like. So even if you're sick or you're depressed or you're having a bad day or whatever, like it doesn't matter. Like you can't pause them and say, okay, I'm just gonna hit pause and I'm gonna go and have a 2-hour nap and then I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna feel much better. My head is pounding and I really need to lie down. You don't get that. So that's just having kids. That's it. You just have to kind of get used to that.
And you're gonna want to do it too. Like having kids is great. It really is.
I feel bad though. Finn will come to me and say, when he sees that look on my face, I guess of, I'm barely holding my shit together because of the noise and and the crying and the fire truck and he'll come to me and go, "Mommy, you happy?" I can't say no, because if I say no, I tried it before. If I say no, then he asks me why, and he doesn't understand why I'm ready to freak because of the noise. Because to him, it's not anything. But he goes, "Mom, are you happy?" Yeah. He's a sweet kid, though.
Also, before I forget, Jake wrote something about how Doom is clearly about capitalism. The tapping into hell is Where is it? Let me scroll up and read it. We opened the gate to hell because capitalism. Oh man.
Well, because they are great. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't have 3 of them if they were shit. You know, like, it's not why you do it, but they're not as easy as... I don't like the people who want to bitch all the time about their kids, and I try really hard not to do it. But I'm not going to lie to you either and say that it's always fun and it's always easy and... You know, like, it's hard. And we're here in a city where we don't know anybody. We don't have any babysitters. We don't have any parents or siblings who are uncles and aunts to our kids. We don't have any friends who have kids. So we don't have anybody who can even say take them for the day that we're comfortable with, you know? So we're here, like, we're with them all the time. So they're going to piss you off. That's just the reality of it. But it doesn't mean that I don't love them or that I would have it any differently. It's just, that's just the way it is.
Wow, they never piss me off.
Never?
Never. You're a horrible person.
I'm a horrible mother, then.
Hey, you're horrible.
I'm horrible.
I can't believe it.
Let's go have another one. Let's just keep having them. Let's just add to the team.
I think they piss me off more than they piss you off.
I wouldn't have had 3 if they were that bad, but they're a lot, you know, and we had them close together too, and we wanted them close together, but that makes it harder. Like, Finn wasn't even 4 when Kate was born.
Some people in chat are saying that it is about capitalism. Yeah, but the point is that there's nothing else that happens in those games. Like, you can have stuff that's politically themed or has like hints at what could be discussed in greater length, but it's like there's nothing else to it. You know what I mean? Like looking at the same kind of things that are explored in something like Deus Ex. You know, that's a game that actually has a lot of things that you can talk about. But like Doom, like, come on, that's the problem. Is that Doom has absolutely, like, it's fucking Doom. You know what I mean? Like, come on, like. But it's getting dangerously close into the idea that I really hate, that everything is political. Like, it's not. Not even all art is political. Never mind all like, everything. Everything is political. Get up in the morning, brushing your teeth, damn politics. Like, it's not. Like, most things are or could be if you really strained hard enough, but it's just like empirically false. What's this one? This is probably the guy that was climbing the rock, right?
Someone was saying if you could turn it down, it's too loud.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Probably because of the gun. Okay.
Someone was saying we should stagger the kids' ages so that the oldest one can look after the youngest one. And actually, Finn is helping with Kate a lot, so that's something. Like, I thought having them closer together, they would have more in common and they'd be able to play together and relate to each other better. But he's actually old enough now that if I say go and bring me this or keep an eye on her for a minute and tell me what she's doing and stuff, if I have to leave the room, like, he can do that.
He's a good boy. There's a difference between a game being about a theme and a game being a skin in a theme. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. 12% faster attack. That seems pretty good.
Time to pick up the pace.
Ooh, that feels significant.
Oh, hi there. You must be one.
I'm sad they got rid of my waifu. What the hell?
Anyway, that's all for inputs.
Those were questions? Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's go on to the next one. Ooh. The time has come. Whoops. Jack S. Okay, so that's the bonus question. Before we get into it,
I got time. So you have two big
Hopperwall,
ones.
is this Q&A only Patreon questions? And chat is Patreon questions and Twitch sub questions. And we take some from chat now and then, usually at the beginning of the stream. And we try to grab them out from chat when we do.
But this one we're doing Patreon because we did Twitch.
Yeah, because we did
all
Twitch.
last time.
Yeah, all last time. Yeah. Thank you. Iro Hizanagi? Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. I must be. Is there a capital letter if I mouse over? Iro Hizanagi. Hopefully that's somewhat correct. Thank you for the new sub Prime. Welcome to Prime Time. I'm so sorry. Trent, Guy, and stuff, use some bits. Gonna head out and watch some Persona VODs. Thanks for your work, Joe. I have zero interest in the Witcher series, but when your Witcher movie comes out, I'm watching all 17 hours of it just for you. I'm sure you'll make it interesting anyway. I hope so. If that's the worry, is that people who haven't played the games aren't going to be interested in it, but let's hope that they are. Let's hope so. So for clarification, only one of the other questions. If you ask some questions on Twitch, then we'll as a Twitch sub, then we'll answer them when we get through them onto the other one too. Yeah. We'll answer the other questions. Do you think criticism is justified around Disco Elysium, considering the themes around communism and what the devs did when accepting the award of the VGAs, and also considering the picture of Stalin they have hung up in their office? I don't remember what they did when they accepted the VGAs, and I watched it. Did they have a picture of Stalin hung up in their office? I think that's hilarious. I wouldn't take that seriously. I mean, like, the game, like, Disco Elysium is so political that it becomes apolitical. Like, it is so political. And again, this is what I'm talking about satire, but Disco Elysium is clearly political satire, and I'm fucking sick to death of over analyzing politics and everything being about politics. So my read on Disco Elysium is that it is making fun of everybody. That's my read on Disco Elysium, because that's how I feel. So that's why I'm bringing to it.
Mark's a VGA.
That's hilarious. So like that's my read on Disco Elysium. From what I'm getting, like it seems to me that they're criticizing communism more than anything else. That's how it seems to me. Like the amount of like fucking like anti-communism decisions they have. I mean, that's how I'm playing it. But yeah, that's how I feel.
She's powering up.
That's hilarious. Did they really? That's really funny.
Will you make timestamps?
For the Q&As or for the Witcher video, and it doesn't matter. The answer in both cases is yes. Yeah. Anyway, let's go for Jack S.
Hello, Geralt and Lily.
She's charging up.
Hope both of you and the kids are faring well and had a great Christmas and have a happy New Year. As per usual, thank you for answering my questions last Q&A. Loving the new format, and the Minecraft server so far has been a blast. It has been really cool to see what is being built by everyone in the community. Anyway, on to the questions. Question 1. 2019 was an interesting year for me, with university getting a puppy, miniature dasher.
Ooh, you got a puppy. Nice.
Cute puppy, too.
You've seen
I've
it?
seen pictures.
How have I not seen the puppy?
On Discord.
What the? Why isn't anyone?
Very cute puppy.
If you ever want to send me dog pictures, you can send me dog pictures.
Uh-oh.
What the? Why is Lily getting to see the dogs, but I'm not?
It was in general. He took the dog for a walk, and some very nice people patted the dog and were nice to the dog.
I don't like it.
And you know, he was like, the dog was very well behaved.
Shuddered at the touch of it.
Very cute puppy.
Joe, you need to get in Discord more often. I'm in Discord all the time.
See, I have eyes everywhere. I even see the dog
I
pictures.
can't believe this shit.
You're not
Where am I?
permitted to
I lost my
leave,
spot.
Artemis.
Hold on. Finding a better place to live with my girlfriend, hitting the 4-year milestone in my relationship with said girlfriend,
Nice.
and even being on a podcast for the first time. However, the biggest goal for me this year was self-improvement, both in starting to go to the gym, eating better, and generally trying to be happier and appreciative of my current life. There are still things that I don't enjoy about my life, my parents for one, but I have genuinely felt as if my life has improved to some degree with even small changes and reflecting upon more of my daily actions. With this in mind, have you both ever reflected upon what things you may want to improve yourself on, appreciate more in your life, or otherwise efforts that will make an impact in your day-to-day happiness?
Oh man. All right, so I can answer this for Lily. like Lily is her own biggest project. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I take regular gigantic ferocious thumps all over myself and was like, you know, you should be doing this better, you should be doing that better, you can improve this, you can improve that. Yeah. But like this is like, it's so similar to every other answer that's gonna come out with me lately. It's just I don't have time. Like it's just like just like it's just so much of my life is just Witcher. Like I'm not even like, I'm a bad dad at right now. Like I'm not even spending enough time with the kids, you know, never mind like self-improvement and trying to be more reflective about things. But yeah, like I would say that when I'm not like killing myself on something that, you know, like I really shouldn't be doing at all, yeah, I would say I'm the kind of person that reflects on that sort of stuff a lot. Yeah. And usually it's quite an extreme kind of like, hey, you should be doing 5,000 other things, you know? Like me and Lily are actually surprisingly similar in that respect. It's just that Lily, I think, spends more time thinking about it than I do. Would you agree with that?
Oh yeah. I think about it a lot. I think about it too much, probably. Probably some of the time I should be thinking about it, I should just be doing it. But it's easier to think about it. I feel like I became a project for myself a long time ago. And I'm set in this mindset now of like, I'm still thinking about it and like envisioning it and not doing it, and that's kind of stupid, but it's kind of like it becomes comfortable almost to be thinking about what you could be doing, or you know, there's goals that I had for myself from years ago that I never got to, and now I'm looking back at them and I'm like, okay, that was great when you were 20, but you're not 20 anymore, and so how many of these still apply, you know, like realistically now, how many of these were born out of I actually want this for myself and I think I could actually attain it, and how many are it seemed like a good time when you were manic to learn 6 languages. Are you ever really going to learn 6 languages? And like over the years I've like, well, you don't have to be fluent in the 6 languages. You could just pass in this language and you could travel in that language, and you know, and now I'm just kind of like, are you ever really going to learn any of these languages? Like stuff like that, you know, like for me, I break it into categories, and it's like, what are my goals personally for writing, for learning, as for hobbies, physically for exercise, and then I look at what are my goals as like a wife and as a mother, and socially with other people who I don't give enough attention to, and those are kind of how I look at my self-improvement in terms of kind of leveling up these areas.
What do we have here?
And what I kind of see myself as, like what my ideal would be, and then what is my realistic ideal for that, and then what do I need to do to get that, and then what does my life look like daily for that kind of person to be, you know, like that girl who's doing those things, what does her daily life look like in order to have those things? And then I put things on my list and I work around them. So for example, if I wanted to learn languages, which clearly it's not a priority because I don't do it, but like I had like Duolingo on my list for the longest time, and like Khan Academy to learn more history and read a chapter of a book, write a scene from my book, have goals for the kids every day that I try to get through, you know, reading to them and doing more like arts and crafts and stuff with them. And I have like Q&A would be on my list because, you know, under like the wife area, because I'm helping Joe with work, so that still counts as something we do together. So stuff like that.
For me, it's all to do with being a dad and a provider. Like everything that I think about lately is like, so like before it was be like, you know, I should try to be in the best shape as possible because that's just like a good idea. But now it's like, okay, try and be in the best shape possible because otherwise you might die like 30 years before you might have lived, and you'll leave the kids without a father, and what the fuck is that going to be like for them? You know what I mean? It's like everything is wrapped up into that kind of area. That's how I feel, you know. Like, but like there are other things too. Like I would like to be able to speak another language. I like to be able to play an instrument. I feel like I'm not going to feel like all that. I'm going to regret it if I don't try to learn an instrument at some point. You know, like, and but like more lofty goals I don't think are ever going to happen. Like. I try to teach myself how to draw at some point. I put a lot of time into it, and like trying to get back to that at some point, I don't think it's ever going to happen.
I don't have time to do everything anymore. It's like, I think you have to really pick now what are the important things that you'll regret, like you said, not doing, because there's just no time. And it's like any time that you do take away and spend on learning to draw or learning to play the piano or learning to speak French, German, Italian, and whatever, God knows whatever else, you're not spending with the kids. And, you know, we're going to homeschool, and I have to, we're going to teach Finn how to read, and there's, Leo has to finish potty training, and Kate's starting on jars now, and it's like all these things that add up for them. And then it's the house and cooking, and you should be cooking more, and you should be cooking more variety and get healthier foods, and, learn to cook better, and, try baking, and, all these kind of domestic things, because you want to give them a good upbringing, right? And you don't want, Finn remembers now. You don't want Finn to be like, wow, I had a really shit mother. She never did anything when I was little. She never once made a cookie or took me to the park or...
One of the most bizarre things, I think it might even be no, it's not number one. Number one is making a person, but like one of the most bizarre things about having a kid is when they reach the age, and it's coming, but I don't think you're prepared for it. When they reach the age where you remember being that age, and like now it's like kind of clicks, and you're like, oh shit, I remember being that old, so he's gonna remember too. Oh no! It's like, oh shit. Okay, it changes the dynamic quite a bit. It's a cool moment.
So you really have to be on your game now. Really, really, really. It's not like fumbling. Getting your routine and everything. They're just really little. They're babies. Like he's 4 now, so you might be fumbling with 3 of them, but like you have to really try to make it not look like that, and like you have your shit together for them. Even if you don't. Like I said, even if you're ready to scream in the kitchen sometimes, or you need your music really loud when they go to bed to get through, like, as long as they don't see that, like, I don't want them to think that, to have any reason to think that. But yeah, I have lots of things, and Joe has lots of things he wants to do, and I kind of take inventory fairly frequently, I think. Even if it's just a line in my little journal thing of what I did today and what I didn't get done today and why didn't I get it done today and do better tomorrow. And sometimes it's like Groundhog Day and I feel like every day is the same. But sometimes I feel like I do better and that becomes the new baseline. So I guess it is getting better. Just sometimes it doesn't feel like it. I think I'm very critical, though, of myself, and I think sometimes I'm too hard on myself. I have a tendency to see that other people are doing something, and I become envious that they're doing something, but they don't have the same circumstances as I do, so I won't think that...
How did I get hit there? What?
They have kids, but the grandparents are really involved, so she gets every Saturday to go do what she wants. I'll just see, oh wow, look at everything she got done on Saturday, or she finished school. I won't be thinking, well, she had to leave at 20, so, she I won't think of the reasons why, that I couldn't do it, or
to my health.
Some of them were very valid and some of them were maybe not, but like I won't see that, and I won't see that, oh, she doesn't have kids, or, so of course she's able to do that, or she does have kids, but, she's not bipolar, and, so, like,
you
things like that.
You compare yourself to other people too much.
Well, it's like
everyone does.
It's like I see something. It's not like I want to be them. It's not like they have everything I want, and that's the point, I think. It's like, they don't have everything I want, but I've always been the type where I'll get an idea, and I'll be like, well, if she's doing that, or he's doing that, well, I should be able to do that. I could do that. I want to do that. And then I want to do too many things, and sometimes they clash. They don't even make sense. Like, remember I used to say, like, I wanted to be more laid back and, like, kind of dabble in things. But I also was going to be a historian and work in an operating room as an operating room nurse. And I had these, like, really complicated, hard degrees that I was trying to go for. But I was going to dabble in lots of other things and be really, with all my agendas and lists, I was going to be really laid back, and it doesn't work. It doesn't fit. But for years, I was trying to, like, force myself into this box, and it just wouldn't work, and I still catch myself doing it. I had a friend say to me once, and it always stuck with me. She was like, you take my best qualities and, like, the best things I've done, and you take your worst qualities and the worst things that you've done, and you compare the two, and it's not fair. You should be comparing your worst with my worst at the very least. If you're going to compare, be fair about it. And I still catch myself doing that, where it's like, they don't have everything that I have, but or I don't have everything that they have, but I'll take a piece from there and a piece from there and a piece from there, and then I'll try to like build a person, you know, like, and it doesn't work like that.
Where did we meet? We met in high school. We've been together for that long. We've been together for 35 years.
Not yet.
You think we're getting to 35 years?
You never know. If you do the exercise, man, you might live a long time. Yeah, I've already built 3 people. Yeah. I meant like creating an ideal of yourself. That's what I meant. Like, you get this idea that you can kind of create, build, you know, like.
I don't collect anything, Jake. I don't know if I have that in me. When I was a teenager, I liked collecting Pokemon cards and Magic cards, and I also enjoyed getting the Warhammer kind of figurines. I didn't like playing it. Same with the cards. I didn't like playing the games either. I just like collecting them. And I didn't have enough money to keep up with it with my friends, so I dropped that off. And I always wondered if I would still enjoy that, and I don't think so. But maybe if the kids get into it, some kind of collection. That's more of a nerdy kind of collection, though. I don't think I have any other collection kind of thing. You know, I'm not a very materialistic person. Not that having a collection makes you like materialistic. I just mean like there's not really anything about that really appeals to me. But maybe I just haven't found the right thing.
I'm tearing up at how much better parents you'd have been. Mine weren't bad people, but kind of incompetent and way over their heads.
Oh, our parents were fucking terrible. Well, okay, you know what? That's not fair. Like, our parents were terrible in some ways, but like as much as we bitched about them, like they you know, like we could have had a hell of a lot worse. But like our parents are probably like, I don't know what, D tier. I'm gonna say D tier. Like, you know, like
could have been worse.
Could have been worse. Could have been way better.
Could have been better.
Yeah.
That's something that I worry about, though. It's like that goes on my list. It's like I take everything that I had growing up in my house with my parents, and I kind of pick it apart and I say, okay, what did they do well and what did they not do so well and what did they do flat out badly? And then I look at my grandparents and who I spent a lot of time with, and I do the same thing for them. And it's like, okay, again, what did they do that I really liked? What didn't they do that I, you know, what didn't they do? And I've kind of like created like a baseline for me where it's like if I can get above that, then I'll be happy. Mm-hmm. I would like to do even better than that if possible, but I'd feel like if I'm going to criticize things that they did, I'd better do better than it. You know, like I want to do better than my own parents did with me, and I'm gonna feel like I failed in some way if I don't. You know, like it really motivates me to try to do better.
Jake says, I'm the only person I know with S-tier parents, to be honest. Very thankful. I'll make sure I let them know. Damn, and you turned out this bad with S-tier parents? Holy crap. Damn. See, I know that you're going to be well adjusted to take that as a joke, because you had S-tier parents, bro. I worry that, I think things tend to go in cycles. Although I think if you have really bad parents, then that can make you become a very, very bad parent. But I think if they're bad in a specific way, it can make you like reject that completely, and you don't make those same mistakes. You make different ones instead. But I feel like where it becomes kind of tricky is if you have a really, really, really good set of parents. I have a feeling that some kids who have like a really, really good start and they have really great parents don't realize how difficult it is to be a really great parent, and they grow up thinking, oh well, my parents did it and it seemed like no problem, I'll be able to do it, no shit, it's gonna be fine. And then they become horrible parents because they had no idea what they were getting into. Do you think that's fair? Do you think that's something that happens?
Yeah. Just seems like it you know, it keeps trickling down, right? And it's like how they react and respond to what they went through. And then, like, my dad used to get beaten, so my dad never hit us. So that was his way of, like, well, nothing physical. I'm not doing anything wrong because it's not physical. But then, psychologically, they'd fuck with you. But, like, that didn't count because I'm not hitting you.
Yeah, as long as you weren't getting hit, it was fine.
You don't know what abuse is, Lily, because, you know, you didn't grow up in my house. Meanwhile, he was replicating the drinking, you know, and he was replicating putting his fist through the wall and that kind of stuff, right? That stuff that his dad did too, but he was putting his fist through the wall. He wasn't putting it on me, right? So that made him still infinitely better. But in some ways, I still feel like if he had hit me, sometimes it might have been less damaging to me if he had just hit me than if he had like gaslighted me and fucked with me for so many years.
Yeah, I was.
And I can't say that for sure because he never hit me. So maybe I'd be saying it differently. I'd be sitting here in another universe saying, "Oh, my dad hit me. I wish he had just fucked with me."
Comparison.
Yeah, maybe, right? Like, how do I know for sure? But I still think it's abuse. You know, I still think it's like, and he didn't see it like that. But again, his parenting, his parents were bad in that regard. And I hear that my grandfather's parents were exactly the same to him as well. So it just kind of like, that side of the family just kept repeating. So that makes me very nervous because then I'm like, okay, how am I going to fuck up? You know? And I'm going to fuck up somehow. Like, you're going to fuck up. There's no parent who never, ever, ever fucks up. And if you think that they haven't, you don't know about it. You didn't see it.
Jake's parents.
He missed something then. When he was a baby, they put the dappy on wrong and he shit himself and he got shit on the sofa or something and they had to, something happened, like that was...
Yeah, but you're talking about like big things,
I'm talking about things that there's no perfect parent, and so like I can try my absolute best to not be a bad parent. It's gonna happen. I'm gonna do something and like that just happens, like you don't know. There's no manual. You push out the baby and they give them to you and say, okay, we're going to watch you to make sure you don't die for 24 hours. And then you get to take the baby
like,
home.
There's no test that you pass. They just let you take it home.
Show us your car seat and then you know how to use it.
You're
and
like,
then
what?
Never mind, show us how to not kill the baby. Like that doesn't matter. And then you just take the baby and you leave. And nobody comes to your house and asks you to show proof that you can look after this human being. Like, they don't care. Like, once you're gone, you're gone. That's it. So you're gonna make mistakes and hopefully you learn from them. But my logic is just I don't want to make the same mistakes my parents made with me. So I want to make new mistakes. So
is it gay to say you love your mom and dad? Of course not.
I think it's great that you feel like you can. That's great if you have that relationship.
I'm envious. Yep. I'm really happy for you. No bamboozle, no shitpost. I really mean it.
But again, there's just it's. You don't know what you're doing until you're doing it, like I think even growing up with kids and growing up like until they're your kids and you're the only one like solely looking after them, you're gonna be in for a little bit of a surprise, like it's until there's nobody there to show you, Like some people have like their mother stay over at the beginning when there's a baby born and like the mother stays for 2 weeks and helps you recover and helps look after them and like we didn't have any of that. We were just kind of in it, so we learned on our feet what to do. And so there's all kinds of parents and all kinds of different circumstances and stuff, and some people have this and some people don't, and but we're all going to make mistakes anyway. With or without the help, you're going to make mistakes. So, but yeah, it's very important to me that for self-improvement that I look at what was done for me and I say, okay, they did that really well, they didn't do that very well. I want to do it just as well, but I want to aim higher than that. And hopefully I'll get higher than that. And at least I won't get lower than that. Because I'm going to be really upset if Finn hits, 20s and says to me, Mom, I'm leaving and I don't want to hear from you anymore. It's going to break my heart.
It's not going to happen.
But I still will worry about it always because of what happened with our parents.
Maybe it's good that you worry about it then because you're going to try really hard to make it so it doesn't happen. But yes, it's not going to happen. Let's go on to the next question from Jackass. And I'm sorry for ragging about your parents, Jake. Call them tomorrow, tell them you love them.
Question 2. At the start of every new year, I try to set around 2 to 3 goals about what I want to attempt to achieve within that given year. As such, learning how to drive, finding a better job, and venturing back into more of my video game writing stuff are scheduled my agenda for 2020. I can set these goals as not only can they be relatively achieved with ease, but are they also building upon the bigger picture of saving more money, finishing university, and so forth. My question to you both is, what are your goals for 2020, if you have any, and in general, what would you like to achieve before the year comes to a close?
I don't make New Year's resolutions because they don't work for me, but I know they do work for some people. I feel like in general, just anecdotally, it seems like they don't work for most people, but for some people they do. Like each year is a fresh start and they go through it. But I don't think that's what your question is asking. I just want to get that comparison out of the way. Like a goal for a year instead of being a New Year's resolution, I think is very distinct. So my goal for the year is to find a way to actually keep my work time below 60 hours a week. I'm not so stupid to think that I'm going to be able to keep it down from 40, because if I keep it below, like, or at 40 is full time in Canada. If I keep my work hours at 40 hours a week, then I'm only going to be able to stream and nothing else. Like, it's just not going to be able. I'm not going to have time to do anything else. So like my goal is around 60, with the occasional like bump up to crunching out a video, because like I enjoy crunching out videos. Like when in the last phase, like I enjoy working very, very hard, like many hours in a row. Like I get a lot of enjoyment out of that. But the way I'm doing it right now isn't healthy. And also I need to like find a better work balance with the kids. So after The Witcher's done, that's my goal. That's my big goal of the year. Another one is actually learning how to drive. I don't know how to drive. I've been hesitant to try to learn for two reasons. The first is the narcolepsy. I was worried that I wouldn't be able to do it. You know, there are times where I get very sleepy, but I've read up about it quite a bit, and there are many narcoleptics that are capable of driving. They just know themselves, and they've gone for tests. They've convinced the driving board or whatever the fuck it is that they're capable of safely driving. And the other one is that we just couldn't afford it, like years ago, and now we can afford it. So yeah, that's what I want to do this year. I want to learn how to drive. So those are my big two that I would like to do this year. If I can do it, I would like to start video game development this year. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that, but that's what I would like to do. And I think those are my big three. But if I start to learn how to drive, I've never driven a car. I've never even started doing the test. If I get into a car and I just can't do it, like I'm not gonna force myself. I'm not gonna put that risk on me, and especially not anyone else. Or like it's not just the other people on the road; it's the people in the car that are gonna be with me, right? Like I'm not gonna do it. But I think I'm capable of handling that. Especially now that I started wearing contact lenses. Like I hate wearing my glasses. I don't like doing that, and that was another part of it. But now I can wear contact lenses, and it's great. Having peripheral vision is going to help a lot. I feel a lot more aware. I don't like the glasses. I think that's it. I think those are the big ones. Yeah. What about you?
I don't really have any.
Really?
Well, I have my usual goals, right? Like my usual. I don't really make resolutions. I just kind of spell out my usual stuff that's on my regular, like I said, my usual list, right? Mm-hmm. So usually it's just kind of an evaluation at the end of the year of I will maintain this, I will continue doing this, and I will try to incorporate this. And usually there's like 10 of them or more, sometimes 10 to 15 of points that I'll make. And some are maintenance, and some are learning to drive, or getting into a better exercise routine and losing the last of the baby weight, because I've been like, I keep losing a bunch of it, and then I have another baby, and then I just like put some weight on top of the other weight, and then I lose a bunch of it, and then I have another baby. So I would like to lose the rest of it so that I'm down to what I was before I had kids. And I think that'll make me feel really, really happy. And I guess finishing the book that I'm writing, that I've been writing for the last few years, and trying to send it out again and see if anything comes of it. Querying wise with agents and stuff, I had a few good replies last time that they didn't want what I was sending currently, but I actually had one tell me they were interested if I wanted to submit something else. So I wouldn't mind. It's been a while, but I wouldn't mind trying again. Like,
do you think there's anyone in like the publishing business or an agent or anything that follows the channel at all? Do you think that's something that exists?
It's possible, but I've never heard anything from anybody.
I doubt it.
You never know. Like, there's so many people, right? In all different countries and everything like that, right? Speaking of your past frustration with literary agents, Inside Scoop is there's a lot of BS in that career field. Agents rejecting books because of personal preference or even their mood. Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, that's a given. Yeah, of course. And honestly, maybe that's not such a bad thing. You know what I mean? Like that's like, or not such a criminal thing. You know, like I feel like that's just human nature, you know. Like that's the same thing in school. Like I used to see there's professors. I don't know if this is the same way university works all over the world, but up here in Canada, the way that it works in at least the university we went to, might even work this way all over Canada, is that you have the professors and then you have the TAs, and the TAs are the teacher's assistant, and the TAs will have like the whole course will be about, I don't know, like what, like a couple hundred people, and then there will be workshop classes within the within that course that are split into classrooms that kind of like our high school classroom size, and those one is led by the professor, maybe even a couple, but most of them are led by TAs and teachers assistants.
They're called
tutorials, yeah. So like there were times when I was like on the bus coming home from university. This is a long time ago now when I was in university, and I would see like TAs in my classes like marking essays on the bus. Like, how the fuck are you able to like with like at night with like reading it from the street lamps as you're driving by, you know? Like, how the fuck are you giving this the attention it deserves that you're marking it, you know, on the bus with people shouting over each other and like who the fuck, like fuck off, like. But yeah, like and that's like, who knows, like go home and they had a couple glasses of wine and they start marking your shit and they're like, oh, here we go, oh yeah, let's, you know what, this is worth a 90, I'm gonna give them an 89, fuck them, you know, fuck these guys. Like, yeah, like they don't like you said something like smart in their class one time, and they're mad that they didn't think of it, so now they're just like, fuck this guy, take him down a pit, you know what I mean? Like that sort of thing. Or the opposite, this guy just says stupid shit all fucking lectured, like fuck this guy, you know what I mean? Like yeah, so that's definitely something that happens.
Jack says, I use goals instead of New Year's resolution because resolutions are supposed to be about like improving upon yourself that you otherwise couldn't have done. With goals, you can adjust them IMO to your liking due to life being forever changing. Plus, improvement can be done at any time, not just at the start of January 1st. Found it more effective that way. That's kind of what I'm doing. Like, I have them throughout the whole year anyway. I just kind of reevaluate at the end of the year and say, where am I at? What did I do? What didn't I do? What am I going to continue to do? And then what do I need to add on to that? You know, like what needs... Like, we're going to learn to drive, but we're not going to be focusing on that until after Witcher's done. So, like, that's not a goal that I'm going to be doing at the beginning, you know, of the year. I'm going to be doing that after. You know what I mean? Like, it's... What am I focusing on in January even? Like, I don't just make them for the year. I have, like, priorities as to... You know? I try to. Again, like, it's... I have lots of ideas and I have lots of things, you know, that I want to do, but the reality is with the kids sometimes it just doesn't happen. You know, I'll get into a routine, I'll fall out of the routine, the kids will mess me up, bipolar will mess me up. Like it's not so simple.
I recommend practicing in an empty parking lot or cemetery. That's where I first practiced. A cemetery?
That would be good. Well, because you drive really slowly in a cemetery, there's not a lot of traffic.
What kind of cemeteries have driving inside? What?
No, they have roads.
Really?
Yeah.
I only ever
They
been
have
to one
roads,
cemetery
so you drive
that's been
through.
like
How
that.
do you think the caskets get through and the hearses?
Yeah, but I didn't think those are public roads for...
Well, you drive through to go to a funeral.
Yeah, but that's only in the big cemeteries. Like, I've only been in one cemetery that big in Toronto. That's another reason I want to move to Canada. I rather enjoy driving for rideshare services. What's a rideshare service? And I've heard there's a lot of demand for it in Canada's more prominent cities. Maybe is rideshare service like an Uber kind of thing?
I think so.
Or
something similar.
Like a taxi service. What did you guys do to stay alive before Twitch, YouTube? Odd jobs and some writing. Yeah. Nothing very romantic or noteworthy.
Restaurants, funeral home.
You said that horror games are broken because they don't scare you. Do you still stand by the video? Yep, absolutely. Yeah. You read that one.
I learned in a cemetery, in a parking lot actually. My mom took me the first few times in the parking lot, and I drove around the empty part of the parking lot, and then she switched over and drove us home, and then I had my first driving lesson, and he said, okay, we'll pull onto the road now, and I was in rush hour traffic in Toronto, and I was like, oh my God. And he had the you know, they have the pedal, the brake, and he's like, don't worry, nothing can happen, I have the thing, and then I almost rear-ended a bus. So, should have been back in the parking lot, I was not ready.
Terrifying. I had a TA openly admit in class that he gave the girls in our lab group higher marks because he thought they were cute. Wow. What a Chad. What a Chad. How can I find if you've answered my question? If it's in this round, you can mouse through the preview of the videos to see if your name shows up. I do not think that horror games are objectively broken because of that. That was not a criticism that I think everyone is wrong about. That's what the follow-up video was sort of about too. But that was more of an addressing an issue that had been around forever. Like, it was just the worst on that video. So I thought it was a good time to talk about it. From the very first Dark Souls video, I had people say that to me. Why are you presenting your opinions as objective fact? Blah 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 blah. Let's not get into it.
I did get better though.
Yeah, you did. Yes.
I was just thinking about how when he would take me out on the main roads, and he was Serbian or Croatian or Romanian, or I can't remember. He had a really thick accent, and he would say to me, "Look over there, the car." And I would look, and he'd say, "What do you think? New model? Old model? Get your eyes on the road!" I fell for it so many times.
Sounds like a cool driver, actually.
He was. I liked him. He was really good. He taught me.
Has my opinion changed on Nier since streaming it? No, because I haven't played it again since then, so no. I liked it though. Like the ending of Nier Automata smoothed out a lot of my issues with it. Yeah, I had a good time with Automata. For a weird a time after I played Automata, there was this weird opinion people had that I didn't like it. I don't know where that came from. Like, yeah, I thought Nier was really good. I mean, the story was kind of bad, and the characters were okay, and the gameplay was shit. But I really liked it, you know? Like, visually, it was not really that impressive. I'm kidding. No, it was good. I enjoyed Nier. Automata. Anyway, here's the big question from Jack S, right? The last one. Okay, so, this question is about the show 13 Reasons Why, specifically Season 3, but it's probably going to be spoilers for all of it. So if you have not watched the show 13 Reasons Why, you probably want to leave until chat, or mute the stream until chat says it's safe now, because Liz is going to be discussing full spoilers of the show 13 Reasons Why. I'm probably going to go on quite a bit of a rant. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I have not watched it, so I don't give a shit, so I'm just going to stay. So, yeah, so... There's your warning.
Bonus question. As discussed with Lily on Discord in the last Q&A, thought I would check this here to just get Lily's thoughts on Season 3 of 13 Reasons Why. What did you like, dislike, and overall thoughts? Thanks as per usual for taking the time to answer my questions. Can't wait for whenever Geralt comes to the channel and makes an appearance. Hopefully you are on the home stretch now or getting close and can finally be done with it. Much love, Jack Ass S.
Thank you, Jack Ass S.
Okay, so I was asked this 2 rounds of questions back, I think, and I hadn't seen it, and I wasn't ready. After that, he asked me, and I tried to follow up on it, and I actually had to go away and do my homework like a good little girl and watch all of it. And then of course,
oh my god,
then of course, I made notes because, so I'm not going to really go into it. I'm just going to read you my notes because I don't want this to go on for too long. But I'm really glad I made these notes because I wouldn't have remembered when I reviewed them right before the stream. I forgot already a whole bunch of shit. So I'm really glad I made the notes. So, I will start by saying that the first season I liked because I really liked how they depicted depression. And I really liked how they showed her kind of going through the motions and essentially planning her suicide without really showing that she was planning her suicide. And I thought that was very accurate from my own personal experiences of being so depressed and so numb that you don't really realize how depressed and numb that you are. So I really liked how they showed how depressed she gets and the way that she behaves and the way that she she follows through and everything. I thought that was a very powerful scene, and it really grabbed me, and I thought it was really well done, and it really put me off any leftover suicidal tendencies I might have been having at the time, which were not many, but you know, you still have lingering thoughts of like ideation and stuff, right? And it really put me off. So I thought that was really well done, and I hope that other people might watch it and also be put off, you know, by something so disturbing. And I didn't like, though, that she essentially just kind of makes these tapes and everyone is at fault and is blamed, when ultimately it was her decision. And so Joe and I talked about it a little bit, and at first I was really, I thought it was well done overall, but I hadn't thought about little things about how it could be copycatted and stuff like that, and it really bothered me. So I liked the first season well enough to go on to the second season, but the second season was mostly in a courtroom, and it didn't grab me at all, and I felt it was going on a little too much about her suicide and kind of glorifying it a little bit and glamorizing it more than the actual first season did. And the only thing I really liked about the second season was that Bryce, who is a rapist and is very wealthy and very prominent in the community, gets away with it essentially when he's brought against certain crimes and stuff like that. I thought that was very well done and very realistic. I didn't think he would have really been punished for that, given the way it goes about dealing with it. And I watched the ending. The whole thing with Tyler upset me more than the thing with Hannah, and when he's raped in the bathroom of high school, or, you know, we'll say assaulted. I don't know if the rape and assault are the same thing, or if it would be considered more assault, or I don't know the exact terms, but he's abused by Monty in the bathroom, and he has a gun collection, and everything is building that he's going to go to the school and you know, take out the people who hurt him so badly, and then it builds and builds and builds, and then just nothing kind of happens. And I got really mad because on his behalf, I was mad. I was like, I want him to go in there and fucking take out Monty. Like, he deserves it. Even if he doesn't kill him, he deserves something to happen to him. Like, he deserves it. And I was so mad that I was like, I'm not watching any more of this stupid show. Like, they can't even follow through on it. This is unrealistic. Everything was pointing to this. You know, they built it up for so many episodes, and then nothing fucking happened. So, and then Jack was like, go watch it. So I did. And I enjoyed it. I didn't love it. It has its problems. But overall, I enjoyed it. So my notes are that I really liked that they had a new narrator this time, and it wasn't Clay, because I don't really like Clay. So I liked that it was Ani this time, and she was an outsider, and she was very unreliable. And you see her constantly in interviews with the police, and she kind of has the full story, but she's giving it to you kind of degree by degree. And she's not always being honest. So parts of it are coming out in very twisted forms. And she has an outsider perspective, and she didn't even know Hannah. And I really enjoyed the fact that she's so unreliable, and she really kept me guessing as to what is the full story on this, because parts of it were kind of like half finished, or I didn't really believe her, and then something else would come out, and I would be kind of caught off guard by it. So I enjoyed that.
Wait, she's an unreliable narrator?
Yes.
Does she ever pick up a shot put ball at any point in the show?
No.
No? Okay. So just wondering. It doesn't matter.
Not that I saw, that I remember.
That
I wrote in my notes. I enjoyed that it was a murder mystery this time instead of a suicide kind of blame game that the other two had become. And me being interested in murder mysteries and writing my own murder mysteries and stuff, I really, really, really enjoyed that. To the point that I actually thought I should be watching probably more things that are murder mystery-like. I really thought Bryce became an interesting character. And I think that Monty became more interesting too. I felt like both of them were less vilified and a little bit more human. And there was a lot more gray involved in it. But at the same time, I felt like they were always wrong. You know, there was never any time that they were not at fault for what they had done. And Bryce especially, Bryce was like the most hated person right in the whole town, and everyone was just had totally labeled him a rapist. He had to go to another school. They were bullying him at that school. It was like the shoe was totally on the other foot here, you know. And I really liked that they humanized him a little bit, and he wasn't just the rapist. You kind of got in his head a little bit, and I like that he was trying to be better, and he wanted to improve. And Monty, on the other hand, seemed to feel like he didn't need anything to improve. He had done nothing wrong. And I like that the two kind of paralleled each other, even though they used to be best friends. And that Bryce even comes to Tyler's aid at one point and threatens Monty and everything like that, to the point that Monty is a suspect and everything like that when Bryce is murdered. And it felt very much like the whole, he's just starting to change his life, he's just starting to turn it around. Like the thing you always hear about people who are in you know, kind of crisis points, and they're just starting to turn it around, and then something bad happens, and it's just exactly like that's the way it happened. And I thought it was very realistic that they weren't both on the same page, you know, that Monty didn't feel he'd done anything wrong. Any help offered to Monty, it was like he didn't know what to do with it. I don't know if he wasn't ready to hear it, or if he genuinely believed that he wasn't at fault. But I liked that they were both on different layers of it. Like that they didn't, even though they were both to blame and they had both done horrible, horrible things to other people. One wanted redemption and, you know, and to do better, and the other one didn't give a shit. But ultimately, both of them died for it.
Spoilers.
Big spoilers. I'm not hiding anything in this. It's too much effort. Originally, I was mad that Tyler didn't follow through, but at the same time now I see that he was given a fresh start by not following through. He was given time to kind of heal and to get his life together and to move forward. And so after watching the whole thing, I did have other feelings on it, that I guess time had passed and I was less pissed off about the whole thing. That I see why they went about it the way that they did. At the time I was really mad about it, but Tyler would have been killed, and he hadn't intended on coming back from that. It was going to be, you know, like a suicide, I'm taking you with me kind of thing, right? So, and he deserved better than that, given what he had been through, than to just be killed off like that. I think it's very unrealistic, which is something I really don't like about it. And the whole time I'm watching it, and the parts I enjoy, I feel like I shouldn't enjoy them at all, because I feel like it is so unrealistic and soap opera-like that teenagers in a high school are capable of just like lying to the police and getting away with it, and disposing of guns and like a huge bag of guns. Like, we're not talking about like a gun, and like uncovering, you know, the tapes from Hannah and solving Bryce's murder, and just like so many things that I feel like even adults couldn't pull off, and yet you expect me to believe that these teenagers could pull it off, with the cops looking into everything and they just don't see this, and it just seems too convenient.
So is that actually unrealistic, or is it more realistic and it's just other detective and cop shows have conditioned you into thinking that the cops and detectives are way more effective than they really are?
Maybe, but
I wonder about that. It doesn't matter. It's still criticism, because this is what we kind of expect.
It just
from
feels
fiction,
like a soap opera to me when I watch
curious.
it, and it's a decent soap opera. It's better than like Days of Our Lives, the last time I watched, like, which is a long time ago, but like the last time I saw an actual soap opera. But I just find it very hard to believe that it's realistic, and that they're able, like, they're harboring Tyler's secret for all this time, and they have like, you're taking him at this time and I'm taking him at this time, and we're all watching him to make sure he doesn't try to shoot up the school again. And it's like, there's one who's like the voice of reason, who's like, just tell the cops, why are you getting involved in this? If it goes to shit, you're all going to be in trouble. And like, they don't want to hear him, you know, like, friends before everything.
No one likes the voice of reason.
No, they don't.
I learned that with Mario Odyssey.
I like that it dealt with so many different topics instead of just suicide. It dealt with abortion and divorce, and there's people there who've been raped who are coming to terms with and healing after their rapes. There's different stigmas and drugs, and there's the whole storyline with Alex and his physical limitations from when he tried to kill himself, and there's just so many threads that they have here, and it's just all one big mess instead of it just leading to one suicide in one person, you know? And, yeah, I said about Monty, and the scene with his father, I think the last scene with Monty when his father comes to visit him in prison really stood out to me, when he calls him the slur, and spits on him. And I thought that was really, really powerful. It actually made me feel for Monty, as in, where have you come from and what have you had to deal with that made you this way? You know, how much is you and how much you've been made this way? Like, look at the person who's raising you. Look at how there is no emotion and there's no remorse or anything for the fact that his son has done this and is now in prison, you know, like, or wherever he was, juvie, or I don't know where he was, but wherever he was being held. And then Monty's killed, and it's like, so you have Monty who's killed, and then you have Bryce who's killed, and both of their actions have kind of brought upon the fact that they were killed. And it just made me wonder again if it's murder, it's not suicide, but at the same time, it's kind of like suicide because they've brought this on themselves in a sense. You know, if they hadn't done what they did, then they would still be here, you know? So I thought that was an interesting way of looking at it when I thought of that. And I thought it was an interesting parallel between Monty and his father and their relationship, and Bryce and his mother and the yoga scene right before he's killed, where she helps him do yoga and he cries, and you kind of feel for him a little bit too, in that he's trying so hard to undo and be better, and nobody wants to give him the room to do that. They're making it all really, really hard for him to be a better person. And I understand why they would, because they don't owe him anything. You know, they don't owe him after what he did. They don't owe him even to listen to him. You know, like, you don't have to listen to someone who's done something like that to you or to your daughter or to someone that you care about. But it did make it very hard for him. Like, he was trying, like, before he died, to do better. And I really liked that he made his own tape, because it was kind of a play on Hannah's tapes. And the best line in the whole thing for me was when he's listening with Tony to Hannah's tapes that are why, you know, she's going to kill herself, why she, you know, all the reasons why, right? And he's listening to one about, I think, Justin.
Is that why the show's called what it is?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And he's listening to one about Justin. I'm going to mock you when you have your answers. You're talking about video games, and I'm going to be like, oh, another video game? And he says to Tony, this isn't my tape. And Tony says, they're all your tapes. And I thought that was really, that kind of summed up the whole thing for me into one line, was that he's so at fault that not only has he like been the last straw for her that she kills herself when he rapes her, but it's not even about that, because he had a hand in all of these things, you know, like it all comes back to him. And then it comes down to, again, murder and suicide, where I thought when Olivia is Hannah's mother, and Nora is Bryce's mother, and Olivia goes to see Nora after Bryce is dead, and she's going on and on about how hard it was for them and how people were judging them after, and oh, I know how you're feeling and everything. And Nora says to Olivia, well, your daughter killed herself, though my son was murdered. And it was kind of made me stop and think, which they're both awful, but which is worse? You know, is Olivia kind of, she means well, but is she kind of in the wrong to come here and say, like, Bryce was taken, Hannah chose, you know, like, I don't know which is worse.
Oh,
you know?
God, that's a really tough decision, actually.
But
yeah.
it really made me think.
Oh,
and
man.
Like I said, it's a show that I didn't want to think, because I felt like I shouldn't be thinking, you know, like, it's, the acting isn't great, the dialogue isn't good, the story, it's not great, but it did make me have a lot of moments like that where I stopped and thought, like, I'm really not sure how I feel about this, you know, like, and again, like I said, with Bryce's murder, he kind of brought it on himself. So how much of that was related to his own issues and stuff was related to suicide tendencies himself, you know, that if you're awful to this many people, like, you're eventually going to piss off the wrong person, you know? And I feel like he thought he was untouchable, but he wasn't. By the time he realized he wasn't untouchable, it was too late. The scene where they're all standing up in the auditorium and I'm a survivor, I'm a survivor, I'm a survivor, and then Justin stands up and says, I'm a survivor, I thought was really powerful, and it really drilled home to me again, like, in Jessica's group, Tyler's there, and Tyler was an outsider. Nobody knew at that time that he was also a survivor. They were all girls in the group, all female, and I thought it was really powerful that when it comes out about Tyler, everyone is rallying for him, and everyone's, you know, we're here for you, and you've been in the group with us for all this time, and the support group. And then Justin stands up, and something had happened to Justin when he was a child, and it was like his mother's boyfriend who had molested him. And again, it kind of really hits home that it doesn't matter where you've come from, it doesn't matter how old you were when it happened, it doesn't matter the circumstances, it doesn't matter if you're male or female, anyone can be a sexual assault victim, you know?
sweetness of revenge.
I thought that was a really powerful scene. And I liked how it jumped around from a writing perspective. And I enjoyed it overall. Like I said, it's not perfect, but it grabbed me enough from a writing perspective that I enjoyed it just watching the story unfold. And from a mystery perspective, I didn't care for any of the characters overly. I didn't really get attached to any of them, but that's okay. In this situation, like, I didn't need it. There were enough characters to kind of keep me interested, and enough storylines that were unfolding. And but overall, I preferred this season to all the other seasons, to the point that I'll watch the next one. It ends on a very big kind of cliffhanger, oh shit moment of them making a discovery that you thought was safe, and I really I thought that was really well done, because I had kind of forgotten about it, and then it kind of comes out of nowhere, and you're like,
Ladies' night, I guess.
oh yeah, about that, you know, it's not all tied off, so they're clearly planning on another season. So I'm curious that this will. The second season was kind of the follow-up to the suicide episode, you know, season, and it seems now like season 4 is going to be the follow-up to Bryce's murder, and there's, you know, and everything that happened with Tyler is not finished, and there's still stuff going on with different characters and stuff like that. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. I think that's it.
Here's the fee. Should make a nice enough
So,
addition
yeah.
to my chambers.
Lily's first video.
What is that even supposed
Jack,
to
did I do okay?
Lily's first video. Why is dying and reloading such a terrible thing to happen in a horror game, but not an issue for, say, Uncharted set pieces? Well, and dying and during an Uncharted set piece isn't exactly great, because it does, you do lose that kind of flow state that you're in when you're like feeling like you're a badass moving through this like action scene that you're playing through. However, if you die and you try again from the start, even you can do the whole thing, you can still get back into that flow state. It's more about like acting out a fantasy almost that you are still making happen through manipulation of the gameplay, the game's mechanics and systems. Whereas dying and reloading in a horror game is purely an emotional experience. There's no interaction between you and the game systems and mechanics. It's just the game trying to make you feel scared. And once you realize that there's nothing to be scared of, in this case by dying and reloading and realizing, oh, okay, there's no consequences, it's gone forever. Some people, it takes a few deaths to get there, but I haven't spoken to anybody at all that has ever said to me, a monster in a game remains to be scary after it's killed me 50 times, 100 times. It's just a matter of numbers. You just have to keep going up and up and up and up. Whereas trying to roleplay as like an action hero in a game, because you're interacting with the mechanics and systems, that doesn't really have the same kind of drawback there. It can interrupt you and you can get frustrated, but you can still come back to it. That's how I think. I don't think that's a fair comparison at all. Actually, it's kind of a weird thing to ask. Like I don't see how they're even within the same ballpark of each other. You weren't the only one who asked it though. It was brought up in the comments on the video a couple times.
Lots of interesting thoughts. I imagine much more discussion will be had between us on the Discord. I agree with a lot of things that you said. Fantastic work. 10 out of 10 quality review.
Oh, nice.
All seriousness, thank you for taking the time to watch the show and discuss it. I didn't have anyone to talk to about it, so it's really cool that you did. Thanks. Well, thank you for making me watch it, because I actually enjoyed it, so that was pretty cool.
Is Sekiro too fresh to get into spoilery territory in chat? I can't wait till next Q&A if needed. It probably is, yeah. I don't know. Oh yeah, we're clear of 13 reasons why spoilers. Yeah, thank you for that, Incoets. Yeah. Is dying in game like Don't Starve without a revive statue scary? I think it can be. Yeah, it can be. I think even there though, eventually it's gonna lose its impact, but it depends. Like if you're on if you die and you are on day like, I don't know, like 500 and you've invested so much time and resources into building into this game, and you die and you come back to life and it was your last revive, what are they called, like the voodoo meat statue things, whatever they are, and you go to your chest and you realize, oh no, I I don't have the materials prepared to make another one. Shit, I miscalculated here. Going around and then making that new one is going to be a probably a tenser experience than almost anything in a horror game. You know, you might lose so much time and effort from this. Don't Starve also has some horror elements in its creatures and its atmosphere as well. It's got like a cutesy art style, but it's also kind of got a surreal kind of unsettling art style in some parts too.
How come we can get Lily to watch shows, but we can't get Joe to watch anime? Because this one I spoke about of my own accord before, that's why. This one I mentioned in another Q&A or another stream or whatever about the first season, I think.
Okay.
Undertale is a horror game. There was a part in Undertale that got close to a horror game for me. Yeah, it did. I don't like the gun. I don't like the gun, and I don't like the bow. I feel like the game just becomes like a worse version of Enter the Gungeon with the gun or the bow. I'm not a fan of them. I feel like the gun's DPS is too low. But I guess it's the sacrifice that you get for the safety of being able to stay at range. But then I get frustrated and I want to try and push more damage, and I end up in a bad situation or bad position. Is there a difference between horror and just tension from the aesthetic? That's a good question. You have to think about that. You could make an argument that there is no real horror in any games and it's just about tension. Imagine a version of Getting Over It that's like 400 hours long. You can just fall at the beginning of time. Well, imagine a version of Getting Over It that has monsters around that might show up and push you down, and you lose a lot of progress because you don't handle them well. You know, like that, and you lose that much time going back, and you have to go through it. I think that would end up being probably a more compelling horror experience than most horror games. It wouldn't be perfect. That's not like, yeah, horror solved. Like, absolutely not. Like, there would be problems, and eventually that would have the same thing. Eventually it would just show up and you'd be like, oh god, here we go, frustrating time again. But I think that would be a better horror experience as a baseline to start with.
How's it going?
Baratha.
Punishing bonus damage. Your spin attack is replaced with punishing sweep. After your special, you can retrieve your spear with Raging Rush. Press Y to dash to your spear, damaging foes next to attacks cast or stronger. That seems interesting. So that makes you go to where the spear lands instead of the spear coming back to you. Okay, and this one is Inform, Eternal Spear bonus, speed and range. So that's just a normal one. You just get better speed and range, right? So let's just play with the normal one then.
Grows stronger.
Interesting. So what time is it? How long have we been live for? We've been live for 3 hours. So it's 3. So I think we can answer one more depending on what it is. I think we can answer this one quickly. This is quickly. I think we can answer this one without going too far over time. It's from Jaime. I think that'll be the last one of the night. Before we get into that, though, let's say thank you to some people. Did you see The Joker? If so, what do you think of it? I have not seen The Joker, no. The Joker seems to be a weird movie. It seems like a lot of people really enjoyed The Joker, and if you enjoyed The Joker, you're an incel, which seems weird. And there have been a lot of people that aren't incels that enjoy it, and they seem to be like caught in this weird position where they like a movie that is out of their political sphere for some reason. There's a lot of people that think The Joker is a joke, like the movie is absolutely terrible, and they're insulted that it's getting, awards and shit, which seems really strange to me. Like, I don't know. Like, yeah, I haven't seen it though, so I can't comment. Look kind of weird to me. Thank you, Cooley Dixie, for the new sub prime. Welcome to Prime Time. Thank you very much. Welcome to the pickle jar. Thank you, Chris Dalf, for the new sub as well. Welcome to Prime Time. Welcome to the pickle pile and or Pow Patrol. And thank you, Chuffed, for the 813 sub. Hi, Joe, and Lily Smiley Face. Thank you, Chuffed. I always like saying your name because I like the word Chuffed. Thank you.
Don't need to turn the heat gauge so high to earn those bounties. That's as far as it goes.
Okay. This is weird.
No
I like
telling
this
back.
system. Okay. Anyway, so Jaime, go ahead.
Hi, Joseph Punderson. Hi, Lily.
My brother Hades.
You just
I'm
get-
just me.
You're just Lily. Yeah.
You get Joseph Punderson. Hope everything is doing great for both of you and your loved ones.
Is my hair sticking up?
Thank you, Jaime.
As always, both of you have been of huge help on these rough patches I've been going through lately. Thanks for all the hours of entertainment, dad jokes, and weeb wisdom. Here are my questions. Hope you're doing better. I know you were going through a rough time. For Joe, I finished Death Stranding recently, and I've been thinking a lot about how certain video games are in love with cinema. I think this has some downside because it robs the control to the player and harnesses the potential of the video game to be its own thing. What are your thoughts on this? Is there a way to better use the influence of cinema than in just cinematics? David Cage's games sure are not that way. Sure are not the way. Do you think that games are as a medium would improve if they forget about trying to be cinema, and how?
So you can make a strong argument that any time that a game becomes an uncontrollable movie, that it's failed. It's just relinquishing control. I think that's too reductive, but you could make an argument for it, and it would be an interesting conversation. Just like if it's the same, it's almost the same thing as if you're watching a movie and then instead of it showing a scene to you, that it just cut to black and put a bunch of text on the screen and had you read it. Now that can be fine for setting the scene. Like sometimes it can be used quite well. Like Star Wars uses it well. I'm not really the biggest Star Wars fan, but I do enjoy like the opening crawl. I kind of feel like it's quite epic. I heard that the new one is shit, but yeah, I feel like that's an example of it done well, and it still uses like the visual like medium as well. It's like this big, like the text is like whoa coming at you, you know what I mean? Like it's back when it first was released, it was probably quite impressive as well. But I think that's the kind of analog that we can make here, that any time that a game takes control away from you and has just an uncontrollable movie, it's sort of like a movie is putting text on screen and making you read. Like what's the point? Like it goes against it. But again, too reductionist. Like you can have like cool subtitles in a movie, you know, that you can watch it. Man on Fire does that. I really enjoyed the subtitles in Man on Fire, if you've seen that movie with Denzel Washington. And like then you get into this problem of like, are characters like talking in a game that you need to read because it's not voice acted? Is that not now using the medium to a good way? Because to me, there's a lot of games that I would really prefer if they didn't have voice acting, you know, like but it is fun to think about. I think that what many people playing games should try to do when they're in 3D games is try to work on their cameraman skills, which is kind of weird. I've been thinking about this for the past couple of years because when I make the videos, I try to there's a saying that you shoot to edit. So when you're making a movie, you're going to be spending a lot of time editing clips together and adding effects to them, and you need to capture the footage in a way that is very like opens itself up to whatever editing possibilities that you have in your mind in the future. So like it's not that you just capture all your footage and then you're just like, let's see what I can do with this. No, you want to think about it ahead of time and shoot to edit. It sounds exactly what it is. Maybe I'm over explaining it, we'll see. So that's kind of what I do when I'm playing games now, is that I keep in mind that I'm gonna have to use this footage in ways to make it look good in the videos, and to make sure that it's like having it's a good capture of the points I'm trying to make and what's important about the scene. So I kind of role play sort of like a cameraman sometimes when I'm playing games, you know, like having like just tilt my right thumb on the analog stick and just have it kind of like slowly drift around, kind of like a scenic shot as I'm playing the game, that sort of thing, because I think it might look good later on, that sort of thing. And I'm noticing that these skills, or this experience, skills is too strong of a word. It's not really that much. It's just something that I do to improve the videos just a little bit. It probably doesn't really matter all that much, but I'm noticing that this experience and this practice has spilled over into games when I'm playing for, you know, that I don't think I'm gonna use the footage, or just in general, that I find it improves my games to try to be more active with my use of the camera, which is why I appreciate in games that give me more control of the camera. So in that way, I don't know, like that's sort of something you could probably learn from cinema, right? Like in cinematography, which I'm very ignorant about, but I kind of feel like that's an interesting topic to discuss, at least. But when it comes to games like, I think, like you start with Death Stranding, I don't know. Death Stranding is cinematic in a different way than David Cage is, I think. I said that just like thought that, and I just said it out loud, and I know that it's true, but I think I'm gonna struggle to justify it. Like, but I think most of you probably know what I mean. Like, they both are clearly inspired by a lot of cinema, but they just feel so different. Is that fair? Because I think it is. I don't know. Like, Kojima's games are still games, and I feel like they blur the line a lot more, whereas David Cage games just feel like interactive movies, and that's it. Just, you know, in movies where you just have a little, some scenes you just walk around, and in other scenes you're just like making like little decisions that change a little bit. I don't know. I do still enjoy them. Like, there are parts of it that are still interesting. I mean, is it better to have no gameplay at all? It comes back to this idea of how much of a game actually has to be a game for it to be considered to be a game, which sounds kind of stupid, but I mean, like, when you're playing a game and it becomes a movie for an hour, well, clearly it's not a game for that hour. So how much of the runtime, if it was like split 51% to 49%, you know, 51% you're in control and you are playing a game, you know, and the other 49% it's just cinematic. Is it still a game, like, overall as an experience, or do you split it with like, here it's a game, here it's not, here it's a game, here it's not? Because if you ended up like having to read like maybe 10 minutes of text throughout a whole entire movie, I would still call the whole thing a movie. But if you had to read it for like half of it, I don't know. What would that even be at that point? I do think that it's better for games overall to learn things from cinema, because
Strength and beauty.
I'm a strong believer that everyone should learn from past accomplishments, and that if you're trying to learn everything yourself, unless you're just a fucking like genius that just lives for these things and just has this natural ability somehow. But even then, I don't think that can even exist anymore in our like culture that's just oversaturated with consuming so much media. Like, you want to be able to take lessons from things that have already been discovered from different artists, and video games have definitely benefited from that. But that doesn't mean it's only a benefit. I do think that some parts of the games are stagnant because of how people just assume that, okay, this is an improvement that builds on the visual medium of movies. Now we've gone from books to movies to games. I think that video games have a lot to learn from books, and I think that if more designers, or maybe just the storytellers in games, went for that and tried to lean into those comparisons, not even for games like Disco Elysium, I think that there would be a lot to learn from that. The same about the state of video games, that I can just pause like I am right now. You know what I mean? Like, where you can't really do that in a movie. Like, you can take a minute, you get into the character's head more, you spend more time with them. Usually it's a lot more longer of an experience, just like a book is. I think that there's a lot to be learned from books than is from movies. But then when a game has you read, I don't have the same kind of response of it being like, oh, this isn't a game anymore. It depends on how it is. I don't know. I don't think I've thought about this enough. Sorry. I do know that I get very frustrated when a game has too many cinematics, and I think that it needs to be something that is done far more sparingly. But if a game is bad, like the gameplay is bad, there are times when it gets to a cinematic and I'm like, oh cool, finally we get to a cinematic. I think you could make another good argument that Death Stranding is just a bunch of filler in between the story parts. You know, it's just a run around so you can earn the movie sections that give you more of the good stuff that's in the game. I don't think that, because I still got something out of the gameplay, but I think a lot of people are going to have that reaction and think that way. And it's like the moving between the cinematics is just a really, really, really long load screen before you get there, and it just gives you time to dwell on things that are going on. I think that a lot of people are going to feel that way about that game. And I think those people that feel that way about that game, especially they feel very strongly about that game, those are the ones that have such a visceral, strong reaction. Like, they hate that other people like it, you know, like Donkey, you know, like.
Pick a favorite. Olympus, I accept this message.
Inquest says in chat, could this be an age thing, since all the games you played growing up were text-based that set a precedent for you? Maybe a kid who has only played a modern era would feel differently about more cutscenes. That's true, maybe. It could be.
tingly.
They say a lot.
Now she's angry.
Sorry, I'm thinking. It's also interesting that it's something that has only come up when we went to 3D, right? Like most games that were 2D had a fixed camera, and you had there was no need for cinematography. I guess it's probably closer to animation at that point, but even then, like no, like nah, that's not true. Like games were really bad when they first became 3D. Like it's only fairly recently that we started to have cameras that don't get in the way. You know, and I wonder about that. I wonder if it's something to do with I wonder if there were too many attempts at in early on to smooth out the camera, and what they need to do is just to give the player way more control. Because back then there was no dedicated like one analog stick was new, never mind two. And I wonder if that we just need to learn that lesson and just let the players have way more control about the camera and stop trying to cheese it a little bit. But then there are games like Odyssey that have a really great camera that help you out and smooth out the experience. I wonder, I don't know enough about cameras in games to know like how many tricks does a camera like camera in Souls-likes have to make it that experience, or is it just you have total control over it? I'm not sure. What do you think a game like Shadow Colossus would fit in this whole movie game stuff, since Shadow Colossus is still going to get a movie? Shadow Colossus definitely feels more like a movie that you are playing, like controlling an actor in a very sweeping kind of epic tale, and you're in control for the vast majority of it. I would think that Shadow of the Colossus is cinematic. Yeah, I think that's definitely a fair label to put on it, Shadow of the Colossus, and it's a good thing too. I would say that's a positive thing to put on it. But I think that Shadow of the Colossus succeeds as being a cinematic experience far more than something like Death Stranding even. Even though I like Death Stranding. Does not having any UI elements on the screen make something more cinematic? I think some people would say yes to that. Is it that simple?
This. They'll fear me with this spear. Who's it going to be? Electo?
If you're no god, you're nothing.
You've seemed to.
I'm trying to think of games that have cinematics that what would happen if you were in complete control of the game, and I think that there's no way. I think that if you were in complete control of characters during cinematics, during story sequences, like that it would be a lesser experience. I think if you're gonna have two characters just stand in a room and they're just gonna talk to each other, I think it's better if they have the cinematic camera work than have the player just be able to just sit around and like in Half-Life. I think I would prefer what The Last of Us does to what Half-Life 2 does. I think that's better. Even with the amount of like things to inspect that Half-Life 2 has in its scenes, I think it's better to go The Last of Us route. I think you can't trust the player, and it also makes it easier to skip if you're not interested on later playthroughs. I think the player can't be trusted with that kind of thing. There's even some people that criticized The Last of Us for stuff like that. Like they would miss scenes because they weren't rooted during conversations. They just kept on walking forward, and they would miss conversations, and they would criticize things for not being said. And it turns out, well, yeah, you just weren't paying attention enough to realize there was a conversation going on. And this is a really complicated question, Jaime. I think that's all I have. Sorry. That's a pretty shit answer. I'm sorry. I do think there is room for games that don't have any story sequences and conversations like that, though. Like, not every game needs to be like have scenes with characters interacting with each other in that way. So maybe that's the problem, is that I'm so used to having so many games that are in that area that I can't really imagine where most games being like even Dark Souls has those kind of things, like a game being most games being more like Portal, where you're just left to your own devices kind of thing, or the Talos Principle, you know, like that kind of thing. I think as much as media gets more complex, it gets harder to define. It's very easy to define books, very hard to define movies, and almost impossible to define what makes a video game in a non-abstract sense. A lot of cinematic games have a very choose-your-own scene aspect included in the gameplay cycle. I think it's appealing to an audience that grew up watching movies, which I feel is something worth considering. Yeah, there's that too. Like you get to play out a movie. Yeah, I think there's value in that. With Uncharted, it's about an action movie. With games like David Cage, it's playing out an unintentional comedy.
Up we go then. There.
Yeah, I think that's all I have. Sorry. I think this is more of a video topic that requires hundreds of hours of research. What time is next question? Getting tired, Lily?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of just hit me. This is for both of you. Which one of these characters has the best design? Keep in mind that neither or none of them is not a valid answer. And there's links.
What? Oh God.
We have to pick a which.
Okay. Is this link safe? Oh God. Oh, well, I've already made my decision. Based on two very important points. Oh God. All right, here we go. Okay, so what was it again? It was, this one is for both of you. Which of these characters has the best design? Keep in mind that neither or none of them is not a valid answer. All right, here we go. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Blonde is 1. Dark redhead is 5. So 1 on the left to 5. All right, so we have to choose who's the best one. All right. If you made your decision, we'll say it out loud at the same time when you have.
Are we going by numbers?
Yeah, so oh, you want to go do hair color? Wait, do they have names? Hold on, they have names. Who knew that they would have names?
What can
All
I
right,
pronounce them?
so we have Tomomami, Akemi
Oh, is it Akimi?
Humara,
I went to school with an Akimi.
Kaname Madoka, Miki Sayaka, and Sakura Kyoko. All right. All right, are you going to remember their names?
I know the one that I want.
I don't remember their names.
Can we just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5?
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so are we okay, all right, ready? All right, so on 3, wait, because then it's going to be confusing to do 1, 2, 3 and then say a number.
Do you want to do color?
Let's do hair color. Okay, all right.
Okay, but I can't tell what all their hair colors are.
Does that matter?
Can we just do yellow, purple, pink, blue, or orange?
Okay. All right. 1, 2, 3, yellow. Purple. Why did you say it at the same time?
I was looking at chat and got distracted. I like Akimi. Whose hair could be black, but it could also be very dark brown. I'm not sure.
Here's the only reason I go with yellow. She has boobs, which means she's not an 11-year-old. That's the only thing is, knowing this show, she probably still is, and I don't know this show. It's just anime.
Oh, she's got little boobs.
That's the only reason. That's the only reason.
Well, I think Akemi has hips, and you don't really get hips until you get older.
I have no idea who you're talking about.
The
The purple one.
She's got a little bit of like an hourglass going on. Anyway, I like her.
Who's
I
your
like
least
her
favorite?
colors.
Let's do that. All right, we'll count it down. All right, least favorite. All right, ready? Least favorite. How is this a hard decision?
Because I kind of don't like any of the other ones.
You don't like yellow?
Yellow is a very bland face. Pink is trying too hard. Blue is okay, I guess, but I hate what she's wearing. I guess the other one's not as bad.
All right, ready then? All right. Worst one after 3, okay? 1, 2, 3. Pink. Yeah, there we go. All right. Pink. All right. Thank you so much, Jaime. Thank you so much.
Oh, there's more. Sorry.
Oh, there's more.
Short questions. These are not strictly yes/no answers, so feel free to skip them if you think they break the rules. I've seen you have played various Resident Evil games. Which one was your favorite?
Oh man, that's a really hard question. Probably 5 because I got to play it co-op and that was a fun experience. But like, what's the best one overall? Like playing maybe 4. I don't know. I've played 0, 1, the remake on stream. That one was pretty good. I played 4, 5, and 7. They're not my favorite series, but they were all right.
Something I can use.
Probably 5 for the co-op, and for by myself probably 4. I'm gonna guess. Yeah.
Have you ever heard of a game called Disco Elysium?
I have.
Have you ever heard of a game called Return of the Obra Dinn?
I have not. No.
P.S. Love you guys. PS2. Joe, you're gonna hate Star Wars TROS.
Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, I know all about it. I'm gonna hate it. Yeah, I might not even watch it.
PS3. For real, Lily, you should watch Madoka Magica. It's awesome. PS4. PlayStation.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Jaime.
Right there.
Thank you.
So, Zag, you...
Oh,
To my health.
that was fun, wasn't it, Lily?
So much fun.
Purge boons for coin.
I think it's Lily specifically because it's witchy, right? And I'm the one who likes stuff that has witches.
I'm never watching it. I'm never watching it. Nope. I'm never watching it. I'm never watching Madoka Madonna Magic. Never ever.
Oh good, I love
It's
sex.
never gonna happen. A Yaya being enabled is more likely than this happening. And that's also never gonna happen.
When Hannah plays the cat, it'll be like Persona.
Until next time, Jack.
For the next Q&A, I will watch the first episode and tell you why that is a good decision, Joe. Nah, you don't have to put that evil on yourself. It's okay. It's alright.
Thunder time.
No, Bryce here.
Oh, God. Oh, God. I wonder what this is going to be. Gentle Nobra, please provide your waifu, and I will say it. I wonder what it's going to be. Yep, there we go. There we go. There we go. All right. There we go. There it is. There it is. All right. Sakura Kyoko is best girl and is the waifu of Gentle Nobra.
More slam dancers.
Congratulations on your waifu.
Well, that's not part of the deal.
I'm being nice.
Gentle Nobra got extra out of his coins now.
Just because I'm here. If you redeem it at a Q&A with Lily, then
Chat, should I disable the highlight message monocoin reward? Kind of feel like it's pointless. Wait, pointless?
you can't just be here to witness a dab, you know?
The whole shtick of Madoka is that it looks cringe and then hits you with some very dark themes for subversion. Oh no, that's ruined now! What have you done? Oh no! I was gonna watch it.
Good to be back here.
Hey, you.
Problem within.
You watch yourself, old man. You know, I've never met...
Yeah, got...
Okay, what should we take here? Were there any questions that were asked throughout the night that we did not see and someone would like to say?
You got it.
Feeling better already. Bye now.
Well, see ya.
Who is your Hades waifu? The original end of Act 1 succubus.
It's Charon.
Hands Dune.
Care to provide... That bad, huh?
What do you think of the assertion that since losing progress upon death is scary from a player's perspective, while hiding or running from a monster is scary from immersing yourself into the game and characters, that focusing on the former would defeat the intended horror game experience and no longer be a horror game, but say survival horror? Naturally, a game could do both, so would you prefer an experience that masters both styles? Sorry if this is a stupid question.
I'm not really understanding it. I don't think there aren't very many games that explore a different kind of horror than that. There are some, but and those are the more successful to me when a game tries to have a horror experience that is outside of that. But I don't see a way of having horror gameplay work, and gameplay is the important part there, without there being consequences tied into the horror. Like, I think you're onto something. I think you're correct that it would make it survival horror, but I think almost every single horror game that is out right now that you can play and people really tend to enjoy is survival horror. Like, I think that's... I don't know. I want to say as much as like 98% of the horror market is survival horror.
Here's the fee.
For love of God, watch, pause, and select. Is that an anime?
Onward.
Have you played Sanitarium? No, I haven't. Do you have a personal issue with anime beyond chat meeting? I'm curious. No, not really. It just doesn't interest me at all. I don't think it's for D-gens or anything like that. It just doesn't interest me.
Your dust.
It's a YouTube channel about doing it. Pause and smell.
You talked about watching Joe Drawn stream for Amazon and introduced an option to watch it with Twitch Prime. Would it be possible to record the audio separately and upload it to people who don't have Twitch Prime, or maybe just watch it with black screen? Yeah, we might do that. We'll see. Enough people really like JoJo, and I think it would be fun that we could do that. I'm never watching Madoka Magic, though. Never, ever. Line in the sand, it's been drawn.
I think it's for degenerates, and I'm one of them. Many lines have been crossed in the name of God and anime. What if Finn wanted to watch it? Finn's 4. Finn doesn't get to choose what he watches.
Some people are actually legitimately, genuinely angry at me that I'm not going to watch this show. I can feel it. There's genuine anger right now.
Lily question, do you have any desire to learn Polish? Yeah, I have a desire to learn several languages, but I probably won't. I actually just found out recently that my grandfather is fluent apparently, and I never knew. So I feel a little bit cheated that I never learned more than like 3 words.
Is he really?
My grandmother said they spoke it at home when he was growing up, and he's fluent. But he was too busy being drunk all the time that he never taught me. You know? Like, I didn't realize. I knew he knew some, but I didn't know how much was bullshit. But she said, no, actually, there's a nurse with the home where he lives now, and he speaks to her in Polish. He still remembers all of it. He's turning 90 this year, and he remembers. So that's something, right?
Yes, you're right. I am pissed. I'd be pissed too if I had such bad taste. It's okay. You'll get over it. Watch a live action movie. Broaden your horizons. Start with Joker. Do you think your grandfather knows about The Witcher?
I doubt it, because that came so far after, right? I have some relatives, though, that are still in Poland. And I have relatives that recently went back and visited with them. And I have some of them like that I'm like in distant contact with now, so that's kind of cool. The ones that speak English anyway. But pretty much I just know Jankuya, so... And Kapusta.
I need to know Skyrim waifu. I don't think I have a Skyrim waifu. I don't really remember any waifu candidates from Skyrim.
The essentials. Missed opportunity, it just seems. Yeah, everyone in Poland knows Witcher, but my grandfather was born here, and he's 90 this year, so the chances of him knowing anything about Witcher are very unlikely.
Does everyone in Poland know about The Witcher, though? Like, really? Everyone? Are they exaggerating? Everyone? Everyone. I don't mean literally everyone. Like, I will accept 90% of the population. Like, it doesn't have to literally be everyone.
When I talk to my grandmother and stuff, and I try to explain that right now at 3:51 in the morning, we're doing essentially a radio show with 365 people, she has no clue what I'm talking about. So if I try to explain that, you know, Joe's making a video on Witcher, and, you know, that's based on Polish books, I don't think she's going to have a clue what I'm talking about. Maybe, like, a cousin closer to our age that lives in Poland would know about it, but I don't think, like, my great aunt or anything's going to know. No versus I don't know anyone who doesn't know. I think Nova's Polish, right?
The president gave Obama a copy of The Witcher, so probably it was Witcher 2. I remember. That's pretty cringe. He handled it with respect, though.
Lily, would you consider watching Joe play a game like Bloodborne to be closer to a backseat gaming or movie experience? I watch him play anyway.
Mandy. I have merch idea for you, Mandy. All right, here. You should make this T-shirt, okay? He's still here, right? All right, Mandy.
Oh no.
Mandy. All right, here. All right, see this? See this T-shirt?
How excited he is right
you
now?
know
This
this. You've seen this before. The man legend. Okay, I propose the man atop, the lore instead of the legend. Come on, man. Come on. That would be a fucking great t-shirt. That would be so great.
Fuck's sake.
The man, the lore. Come on. Come on. Come on.
Second time we've heard this tonight, Mandalore.
I want to cut. I want to cut. He's angry that he didn't think of it himself.
Clearly. Make him stop, Lily. You know I don't have any such power.
I'll ask an art lab. Oh, send me a picture. We're sending pictures of dogs today. How would you go about Persona 5 2 if Atlas made you the creator director? I'd kill myself. I would turn that down in a heartbeat. There's no way I'm putting myself through that. No way.
Farewell.
No way. The man that ruined Persona. That will be all I'm known for. No longer the man that ruined Mario Odyssey. The man that ruined Persona. You have cute doggo waiting for you in Discord PMs. DMs? That's nice. I would probably try to make it way too ambitious, and it would just fail miserably. That's what would happen.
I'm grateful for this.
I would try to have like a non-linear dungeon progression level thing, and and more exploration freeform through the city, and it would just be like, okay, we've made 20% of the game that you would like us to make, and we're out of budget. What do you want us to do? And I'll be like, all right. Let's just release what we have, and then release a royal version later. What game franchise would I want to ruin? None of them. I don't want to ruin my own franchises.
Damn it, one's come back.
So we should be done like 20 minutes ago, right? And we're just still here. Okay, so I think that's it, everybody. Are there any new ones over here that you want to say thank you to real quick? Did we say thank you to Lonely Hearts?
I don't know who we left off with now.
I think Truff. So thank you, Lonely Hearts, for the 6-month resub. Hello, thanks for all the giggles. You're very welcome, Lonely Hearts. I'm glad that you find us amusing. And then Rocco's 200 to say, when is Lily going to bring out the notes for Matok? Dashway22 uses 100 bits. Joe is someone who is not a weeb and also hates lollies. Madoka is legitimately a quality show that has merit. See? You're a weeb. I'm sorry, chat has beat the horse to death with the cringe on it. I hope one day you look past the cringe and give it a shot. It's very short. You don't know that you're a weeb. Dashaway. You don't know. Okay? You don't know. Alright. Here's what I suggest, alright? No anime for a year. Alright? Live action media only. Alright? Start with the Joker. And then just, just work your way up to Kubrick. Alright? And then get it. And then, you won't want to watch anime anymore, okay? How many animes have you watched? Admit it. Dashaway, how many animes have you watched?
Called Oot.
It's that big soul catcher.
Is it more than 7?
It's all the mods. No, but I'm sorry.
Like 100, and you say you're not a weeb?
Dashaway is in denial.
Denial is a river in Egypt. Dashaway.
It's me or them.
But are there weebs there?
I think a lot of weebs are in denial, yeah.
No, but are they in Egypt? Maybe it's safe for him to go.
Maybe.
Reformed.
Reform? Oh, okay.
He's trying to respawn.
When was the last time you watched an anime, Dashaway? Was it...
Jack says, how does it feel to have me as your single, not a weeb representative in your mod team on Discord?
December 20th? Are you serious? Wow, you really are reformed. Okay. Wow.
Joe's sorry for mocking you, Dashaway. We should be congratulating instead. We should be positive about this.
Wow. Really, seriously.
Supporting.
Wow. He's been de-weebed. He's been de-weebed. He's a dweeb. No. No. He's more than that. He's a hero.
He's a hero.
He's a hero. I say Space Man, you sent somebody to say, I just want to say thank you for your answers, especially choosing only one character from Nodja Magic's roster, even though I know you loved all of them, Kappa. Ralph was using this to say, I want Lily to watch Madoka instead. Joe wouldn't be able to get it. Not going to work on me. Thank you, or her. Thank you, Rand's Goblin, for the new Summer Prime. Welcome to Prime Time. Welcome to the Pickle Jar. And last but not least, we have to do cash in. Someone cashed in a waifu reward. Because I'm not a weeb either, I swear. Alright, Zoro Laventer. Zoro Laventer, who is your girl? Who is your girl, Zoro Laventer? I'm bracing for bullshit.
Speedwagon.
Speedwagon?
What's a Speedwagon? Is
what?
It a bike chain?
Alright. What? Speedwagon is best girl and is the waifu of Zoro Laventer. Alright. What the fuck is Speedwagon? How does everyone know what it is? What the fuck is... What? Oh, look at all these dogs. What the fuck is Speedwagon? Speedwagon. What the fuck? Speedwagon. Robert E.O. Speedwagon is a major ally feature. Oh, it's JoJo. Okay. Sorry, should I have said a husbando? I'm sorry. You need to clarify. Sorry. Speedwagon is best boy and is the husbando of Zoro Laventer. Sorry. There you go. Oh, it's still best girl? He's a wife? Really?
Hey, now you've done both. You're covered. You should just do that for all of them.
Come on, Joe. You have played Persona 5, Zelda Chronicles 2, and Danganronpa. That's like 500 anime. No. Those aren't even anime. They're just anime themed. Dashaway, why did you stop watching anime? What happened? What was the last one you watched? What was it? What made you just be like, fuck it, I'm done?
Well, 100 is a lot.
100 is a lot.
Maybe he felt like he'd seen it all.
There's nothing. What the fuck are you guys talking about?
Cheers to that.
I stopped because my ex left me and it was something we did together, so not that funny of an answer, to be honest.
Oh, no, I feel bad. No. Aw. Dashaway, you watch anime if you want to. It's fine. It's fine, Dashaway. Can we get some hearts in the chat for Dashaway? Let's get some hearts and ayayas in the chat for Dashaway. Oh wait, ayaya's not enabled. Oh shit. I guess just hearts then. Hearts in the chat for Dashaway. You can anime if you want to. I'm sorry, Dashaway.
Wouldn't it be funny if you were like getting so close to the whole Monocoin thing for Ayaya, and if Dashaway had told this story like at that time, and you had just been like, I'm so sorry, Dashaway, I'll enable Ayaya for you.
Yeah.
And all of that was for nothing.
Yeah. It's too bad that they aren't close enough for it, right?
Wouldn't that be funny?
They spent their coins on too much bullshit. Yeah. Oh, all right. I think we're done. I think we're done for real. As soon as I clear this room, I think we're done.
keep Ayaya locked, to be honest. I don't care.
Truly reformed.
Have you listened to Rock the Night by Europe yet?
No, I haven't. I've listened to Snow Halation willingly, though. The Silver Gunner one.
Joe, by keeping Ayaya disabled, you're forcing Weeps to commit suicide. This is a good reason why we opened the mental health channel.
I can use that back home.
Weebs are welcome.
You sure?
Yes.
Weaves are welcome in
Weebs are
mental health?
welcome.
Okay. Which Silver Gunner one? That's true, yeah, there's more than one. The Undertale one. The Undertale one. Okay, let's see if we can do the boss and then we'll be done.
Gentlemen.
So, can you leave? That's
If you were offered a job as a scriptwriter for an anime, would you take it? Absolutely not, no. Because I'd have to do research. I wouldn't do a good job.
Hey Lily, there's witches in Madoka if that for any reason tips the scales. I hate to say it, but there's witches in lots of things that I haven't seen, so I'm quite behind.
I feel like the Minotaur has bad hitboxes. Sometimes I feel like I'm getting hit without getting hit, and I'm getting hit too early in the damage animation. It's the only enemy in the game that I feel that way. Oh man, we just took a lot of damage from that.
Did my response to lollies help you decide my fate into being a Discord mod?
No. It was just a joke question. It was for, it wasn't taken into consideration. Except for one person.
Just one.
Just one. They know who they are.
Lady Artemis, I beg you, guide my spear.
If you could make whatever you wanted, but it had to be animated, would you take the job?
Animated? I mean, I probably, yeah. The anime doesn't mean it's anime, right? Animated, sure, yeah. Like I like the first game I make is probably going to be animated. I don't think it's going to be like anywhere close to realistic 3D graphics. You know, it would be stylized no matter what. So yeah.
A disappointing show from Theseus.
All right, and that's it. I think we are you done. We are you done for real. For real, for real, for real.
So close.
Do you count Ghibli films as anime? Not sure. I haven't seen one. Are you gonna sick of Disco? Nope. I would like to be done with Disco, but not because I'm sick of it. I just want to see where it goes and what the ending is. See? This would be great. This would be great. See?
Is he still here? Mandalore, this could be you.
I'd wear that. I think this is, I'm not even kidding. I think this is unironically good. I'm not kidding. This is an unironically good idea.
It's pretty good. Let me see it.
Right? Thank you.
It's pretty good.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm not pretending. No, I'm not pretending. I'm not. All right. Anyway, thank you very much, everybody. Like I said, this might be the last Q&A that we do for a while because it's getting harder to guarantee that the kids are gonna sleep. Or not the kid, just Kate. Kate's the problem one, because she's a baby. It's not her fault. No hate, Kate, but yeah, that's just the way it is. So we'll see, but we'll continue. So, but just like I don't think anyone plans their Saturday night at hanging out with two almost boomers. But like if you know, like if you are, maybe reconsider that because it's no guarantee.
Have a backup plan,
we'll see.
just in case.
Yeah, have a backup almost boomer. Did Mandy leave? He probably should have. So. All right, I'm going to send it to him and see what he thinks. Oh. Anyway, see you guys later.
Good night.